now it's time for New Belt Nitro Signal, and he fell for it. He's looking to give coverage for his teammate, right? Can he lock it down? Yes, he can, but the swing's in. Has to find it. No time. Pun has to swing in. Geordie's pulled up. He's on it. Around.
Camera in position.
Get behind me.
Tango located.
Hostiles in sight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Playdate number 7 of the Roccat LPL Pro Rainbow Six Siege Season 2 tournament. My name is Proto. Joining me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, Spud Doom. And we are here for another great day of LPL Pro shenanigans. For anyone who has missed our previous weeks, obviously, for the tournament, we have it run down to 7 teams coming into the round robin for the first 7 weeks of the tournaments. Then we move into the semi-finals with best of 3 playoffs, and then the overall best of 5 finals. Spud, these teams are fighting for a chunk of our 3,000 AUD prize pool. First of those walking away with the most.
Yeah, that's right. $1,200 for the team that comes first and $900 for the team that comes second. But of course, you still have to make it to playoffs. So that means these teams are going to be fighting at the absolute best to get that money.
Yeah, indeed they are. These teams have already been going at it for, well, a fair few days already. I mean, last week we saw some absolutely insane gameplay for the 2 games that we did get to see. Coming into tonight, obviously, seeding is the big issue. The highlights from last week show us that, I mean, overall, we had a banging matchup. Obviously, Surf, after the rebrand coming in the new org buff, they did really, really well in their matchup against Team 7, ultimately walking away with the victory and getting some pretty nice highlight moments as well in that matchup.
Yeah, it was a close game, but one that Surf Esports did eventually manage to close out. Well-deserved win, though, especially off the back of some nice kills from Scars of sort of 1v3 clutch. We didn't expect him to do it, but he did do it, and he made it all the way there. He took Surf Esports to that victory at the end.
Yeah, overall, they had a relatively good matchup. UG also did pretty well in their matchup against iDrift and the rest of the guys. They had a really good start. I mean, we saw Ducko come out and have some really good moments. I mean, Jim was doing well as per usual. This is the Ducko ace that we got to see in the evening. But overall, UG victorious. I don't think it was really too much of a surprise, but it was definitely a good thing to see in the evening. We also had Lumi come in for his debut, and overall he performed pretty well. So coming into this week, we are hoping for the same performance from everyone involved.
Yeah, Lumi unfortunately won't be joining us this week. It would be a little bit overpowered if he got to play every single week. I mean, just look at this 1v2 clutch to close out the match. Well played from Lumi, well played from Underground and Get a Grip as well. But it was, of course, Underground taking the win.
Yeah, indeed, and that left us with the current leaderboard that you see on your screens right now. Not quite sure, locking in first, and Surf sort of holding on to that 4th place spot. As we said, seeding is going to be a large part of the next couple of play days, because I mean, overall, we look at the point side of things. Everyone is pretty close together right now in those top 4s. It is really 2 points, 3 points that separate majority of these teams, including UG, who are 1 point behind that 4th place spot. Unfortunately for 6th, 7th, and 8th, it's not looking like they're going to have the chance to make it, but UG are definitely still there trying to get themselves in that 4th place spot. Do you think that they can maybe do it, Spud?
Yeah, look, honestly, depending on how well their game goes tonight, I still think they're in with a chance. They're ahead of Surf Esports in terms of the round difference, so if they can just clinch out that win and say Surf Esports doesn't get their win, then things will definitely change and it could come back down to Underground Gaming taking the 4th spot. They, of course, did make it to playoffs last time ahead of what is currently Get a Grip. Get a Grip did lose by a single point, but this time it looks like the difference between them is a little bit more.
We're going to find out who is going to come out in that top 4 tonight with our matches for this evening. We've got 3 this week, Team 7 versus Underground to kick us off. In the middle, we've got Get a Grip versus F2, and to round out the night, Kraken on Surf Esports. Spud, personally, game number 3 is definitely looking like the one to watch at the end of the evening. We always save the best for last year at the LPL Pro, but I mean, what are you thinking is going to be the matchup for tonight?
Yeah, definitely Kraken versus Surf Esports is going to be really big. For both these teams, it's a do or die match. For Kraken, of course, they're tied on 11 points, and I believe I think they're 3 points behind Team 7 in terms of rounds. So for them, they need to get that win in order to climb ahead of the leaderboard. But if Surf Esports does get that win on the other hand, that means Surf Esports, of course, will probably beat out Underground Gaming, and Kraken now might be facing the pressure from Underground. And of course, looking at that, we've got Team 7 Underground as that big matchup to see right at the start.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one to kick us off. I mean, game number 2 is relatively just seeding for Get a Grip. Obviously, it's just going to be locking in some points. Given that F2 haven't, unfortunately, had the greatest of showings so far in LPL Pro, they are trying. They keep making changes. They are improving week in, week out. But given that we are, one play day away, Spud, it's not looking good for them. But overall, a great thing to behold should be some Get a Grip games for us tonight. And as well, another thing to behold for you yourself in chat. As always, week in, week out, we'd like to say thank you to the people over at LPL for providing us with an awesome R6 prize pack. If you want to walk away with this prize pack, all you have to do is tweet at us, LPL_R6S with the hashtag LPL Pro, and tell us, who do you think is going to be the first seed after we finish up in groups? Spud, I mean, if I had to put good money on it, I'd probably say not quite sure are looking to lock it down. But I mean, do you have any thoughts on who you might see in first?
Yeah, Team 7's still definitely in the running. Again, only 2 points behind. And if we go to overtimes for not quite sure somewhere down the line, then definitely Team 7 could take that leap. But of course, it all comes down to today's matches. This is where it gets down to the final push, the final sprint. And these teams have to give it their all.
Yeah, indeed it is. Spud, overall, we've got a relatively good set of matches for that seeding that we spoke about earlier. So first place is really up for grabs. It is still pretty much anyone's games. We've got 2 more play days left overall to see, but Team 7 so far are gunning for that top spot, a roster that came in with a absolutely stacked roster. I mean, you see names like Phoenix, you've got Sealy, they have that competitive knowledge. Vandal has been one of the newer additions to the roster, but overall Team 7 are always gunning as of recent.
Yeah, that mix with the old talent and the new talent as well is really, really working out for them. As we said, Vandal, a newer addition. Compare that with Campo, Sealy. They've been around for a very, very long time. We don't see Campo tonight, but we do see Sealy. Again, a really star player that's made so many differences for his team. And bringing that together in Team 7 makes for a really, really deadly lineup.
All of these players in this roster as well, other than Vandal, to my knowledge, have Tier 2, Tier 1 Siege experience. So it's no real surprise that these guys are at the top end of the leaderboard. But UG are also a team that are gunning for one of those top 4 spots. Spud, they're currently in 5th. They are an LPL Pro team as of recent. I mean, we saw them last season. We've seen them here again. They've had a really good season, but they are yet to crack top 4. Just as we come into the back end of things, MML, Zube, Eraser, JPK, and Harry. No Lumi this week, so things may be looking a little bit dire, but they do still have a very cracked roster. Eraser on Buck, you can't look past it. But I mean, even then, you got Zube dropping double digits most weeks. So UG, definitely a team that could do some damage to Team 7 here.
Yeah, a bit of the underdog teams, the team that, isn't as flashy as some of the other teams, but they're definitely a really solid and a really consistent team. They're always looking in that 4th spot, 5th spot, this time a little bit shaky, but again, it's only by a couple of rounds. It's a single point difference. The other thing to consider, of course, is that they've taken down big names. They, of course, took down Kraken 8-7 on Oregon, which was Kraken's favorite map, their undefeated map up until that point. And to this point in time, apart from UG, no other team has been able to defeat Kraken on that map.
Yeah, look, Kraken are a different beast. But Spud, for our first matchup, the head-to-head, as always, brought to us by Biocode Lab. 2 players of highlight that I think speak for themselves week in, week out. These 2 players from both of these rosters are standout repeat offenders. They consistently find big kills. They consistently clutch up rounds. These are 2 players that you need to keep your eyes on in tonight's matchup.
Yeah, certainly Team 7 will also have to keep an eye out for a Razor, because the last time I remember Razor so well because I remember him getting a 1v5 ace clutch. It's a 1v5. There is no way he should have won that, but he played it perfectly to a T and he managed to win that out. So if Team 7 aren't careful, he could make a repeat here, and certainly for Team 7, that is not something you want to let slip by.
No, definitely not. And given that they are the roster that has arguably, I'd say, more high-level comp experience, Team 7, as always, are going to be the favorite coming into this. UG, they've played that LPL pro level, but I don't really think they have been too far out of that sort of, LPL pro, really. But the vetoes that it comes down to, Clubhouse, back to basics, Spud. It is going to be a map that both teams theoretically should be comfortable on, given the amount of time that they've been playing the game. Even as teams, they've all been together for a extended period. So Clubhouse should be relatively familiar for both, and a relatively good proving ground as well, I think, for this matchup, given that both teams pretty consistent with how they perform. So Clubhouse is going to be one to tell the tale.
Yeah, ironically, we've actually haven't seen too much Clubhouse this season. We've seen a lot of Oregon, and that is another one of those maps which kind of plays on the same level as Clubhouse. Lots of mini games, a very solid map that all teams need to know how to play. So I'm really looking forward to this, a kind of change in pace away from Oregon onto Clubhouse. Again, lots of technical skill that needs to be displayed here for these teams, and certainly I expect them to be showing us that tonight as we go into week 6. This is, of course, the second last week of the group stage.
Yeah, well, we're going to be jumping right on into Clubhouse here, the flyover. And for our first game of the night, we do have to say thank you to Roccat. Feel the impact with the Vulcan 122 keyboard. It is the best keyboard Roccat has ever built. So make sure you check your stores near you and online for your chance to snag one of those before they disappear, because I imagine they probably will, Spud. But Clubhouse, definitely an interesting map for this matchup. As you said, not one that we've seen too much of in LPL Pro this season, but overall, a map that does get played a considerable amount in OCE competitive Siege. Now, I have been told that Derpe is filling in tonight for Team 7, but I also see Lumi in the chat here. So UG are going to have their soon-to-be PL player back in the roster for them tonight, and Derpe, literally an ex-PL player, is going to be filling in for Team 7. So this is going to be Clash of the Titans, Lumi versus Derpe, the battle of the super subs, Capitao to go. Honestly, not too bad on Clubhouse. You got to clear out that Rafters position. Jackal as well from UG, no surprise. But Spud, I mean, defense-sided, what are we thinking?
I mean, if Underground is going by the stock standard stuff, a Jackal to start things off, then I do expect maybe a Kai-E to go away. But Azami would be a really, really powerful pick. Valk as well is the other option that's stock standard. So I think T7 are the ones who are going to be playing more, I suppose, experimental bands.
Yeah, Valkyrie is pretty much as always, she always goes. But Castle is an interesting one. Now, given that it's Clubhouse, it's a really relevant ban. But to come out from, UG, from Team 7, they're starting the defense. That means that without Castle, obviously SSG style holds. You've got the upstairs master bedroom. Castling the windows is relatively standard practice. So with him gone, it does open up the avenue for possibly a little bit more aggressive style Siege, maybe sort of playing for some of those jump-ins, something along the lines of a highly aggressive strategy. But in saying that, Team 7, they are locking into the bottom floor first here on the downstairs side of things. Basement on Clubhouse, arguably one of the most defender-sided sites that we see in competitive Siege at the moment, if played correctly. I mean, it's got so many styles as well. We spoke about SSG very briefly, Spud. We've got bunkering, obviously, downstairs as well. But we see teams opting for more of those sort of 2-3 splits. 2 on the top floor, work their way back down, see if they can work a pick here or there, take some of the utility away, and get a Razor off the butt. Great start. If they can find kills like that, it's awesome. But for Team 7, Phoenix on the alibi as usual. This is going to be a scary roam to clear for UG.
Yeah, Alibi has just been doing so much damage lately in terms of the competitive meta, and place her on a player like Phoenix, it's bound to be incredible. Hunter now, of course, on the sausage, the the shotgun. That is an unusual pick, but he's definitely looking for an early mistake coming out from UG. But so far, they seem pretty solid. They have not given anything away from free, although I think he will be forced back relatively shortly, as I think his rotation upstairs will be cut off.
Yeah, Hunter is looking to get a little bit aggressive here at the top of Secret. He's got rid of 2 drones already, so even in just doing so, he has done a pretty decent job in getting rid of a lot of that utility from UG. Throwing those drones, maybe not the best idea, but for Team 7, we don't actually see them extending too far up onto that top floor at all. We've got Sealy for a cross. Hunter attempts to possibly be baiting them down towards Secret for Sealy to take down Phoenix over towards the main, holding that back side flank, but it's fine. Hunter's going to switch out to the pistol. He's going to take down Zuve to start, and, well, UG, you've lost your Hibana. That is huge for Team 7.
Really great pick, and definitely one that seems to have been given away for free. I was just complimenting them on not giving anything away, but they seem to have stumbled a little bit. They do have the hard breach charges available, but that limits them to 2 hatches. They have to telegraph their attack a little bit more compared to, say, if they had the Barna open. Lumi now looking to contest, but Hunter will stay safe. Cooks a grenade. If he hears that, he could swing, but no, it will be the grenade. Gets away with it and might actually find 1, almost 2 kills for his troubles.
I don't know how Hunter was allowed to live that long. The nade, unfortunately, there for Lumi, maybe not cooked as long as it needed to be. But Phoenix on the flank, he's come up into Garage from Oil Pit, up the ladder. He's in there. There's no information on him whatsoever. We don't see any pings. It doesn't look like anyone's acting on that information. MML, if he's not careful, he's going to be found here if Phoenix chooses to aggress. But, I mean, they have the time on their sides, but a minute remains.
This roam clear, has been a little bit lackluster. They have let Phoenix come back up. They've got him back in return, but the damage has already been done. They're just dropping players left and right. And that means, of course, when it comes down to execute in these last 30 seconds, not only are they short of time, they're short of players, they're short of utility. It's going to be very, very difficult to push out this blue position as well. And with so many players still available to rotate around, it's going to be a difficult execute for Underground.
Yeah, forcing into blue now. They're dumping some of the utility. Eraser finds a good kill onto Sealy to open up the possibility of a UG round here. He gets a second as well, locking it in for his team. Derpe, he's got the experience and the SMG-11. He spots the Zofia of JPK, but he runs round into the hall. Derpe not expecting it. He's taken down, and UG arguably walk away with a round that they had no right in winning.
Yeah, if anything, I was ready to call that for Team 7. The roam was really good. They had stalled out so much time, but off the back of some brilliant entry work, especially from JPK and Eraser, they were able to clutch it out. And I mean, we've seen this story unfold before. We've seen UG come back from what looks like a lost round and clutch it back up. Surely Team 7 of all teams should know about that.
I mean, people ask why we highlight players multiple times, and Eraser just single-handedly, he's proving it why. You know, multiple weeks in and out, this guy performs. I mean, Spuddy walked into blue and walked away with 2 kills that, let's be honest, he should not have found with support, great support from JPK on that utility. But I mean, just entering straight into the site, cleaning things up. It was great to see for UG. JPK ultimately in the end are the one to seal the deal, but Team 7 a little bit sloppy. I mean, the crossfire is not necessarily working out for them. They're feeding one by one. Keep in mind, it's only round 1, so you can't say too much. It is the only opening moments, but still, UG making the best of the bad situation. I mean, they lost their Hibana in the first few moments of that round spot and still won it, so you do have to give them that.
Team 7, I wouldn't quite count them out yet on this map. They have actually played it against Get a Grip. That was a 7-4 victory to them. So there is precedent here, and I think they are going to be quite familiar with it. Having said that, of course, last week they did suffer a little bit of an unexpected loss to Surf Esports on Oregon. So maybe the mental might still be playing a factor. Of course, that means you need to find some way to get this back because, of course, we've mentioned so many times, this is a do-or-die situation for these teams. Team 7 losing an extra player like that at the start, almost 2. Fortunately, Hunter on the refrag, but on low health. Looking a bit rough for both teams, I think, at this point.
I don't know if JPK ran out of ammo there or what really happened, but I guess it doesn't matter too much. They're playing the trade game well this time. UG are extending into this roam clear a lot heavier than they did in the first round, making sure that everything is clear. They have sacrificed one player in doing so, JPK. Unfortunately, the one to give his life, but he got his one. He traded himself out and then ultimately was refragged as well. So UG already making great changes, and this is what we talked about when we see UG place, but they don't make that momentum up quick enough. But in this matchup right now, it's definitely looking like they found their footing early.
Yeah, great way to start out. And again, we mentioned last time they seem to have made some mistakes early on, letting Hunter get away with that aggression, but they are very good at adapting to aggression. We saw it before when they played against Kraken, when they've played against other teams as well, that they know how to read into these things. They take it slowly, they take it carefully, and even though they might be a player down, as we saw in that last round, they're still able to find things, find openings and push it back. Derpe, however, will take out our star Lumi, and that means the player count is back even, and it's on the upside down repel, I believe, as well. An unfortunate situation to find yourself in.
We've also been informed that Lumi might not actually be Lumi. It might be Harry. We will get confirmation on that. If it is Lumi, let's go. But if it's Harry, I mean, it's not Lumi, so...
Yeah, pack it up.
He's got the name. He's got the Lumi name buff, but in saying that, it is UG to find one more. Zuby takes down Phoenix. Nades from MML now could connect if he lands them just right, but unfortunately Vandal moves away in the right amount of time to keep himself alive. 3 versus 2. Team 7 once more on the back foot after trading off some kills that, let's face it, Spud, they should not have been giving away. Eraser still stands as well, so the man who does the most for this roster in the clutch potential is going to be completely blinded out with low HP. Zube getting the bomb down now. Derpe inside of the site has the ability to shut this down completely. He doesn't know Eraser's there. However, unspotted, Eraser will go down. Eraser will get Derpe before he goes down. Vandal now the last alive in a 1 versus 2. He's not going to get the chance. Zuve survives for longer than 30 seconds and makes it count. Gets the bomb down and the final frag for his team. UG go up by 2 rounds. And I mean, that is a great way to kick this off. This is not what we usually see from UG, Spud. They usually go down a few and then ultimately they come back in the end. But they are hitting the ground running right now.
Definitely done their homework. Let's consider the fact that this is basement on Clubhouse, one of the most defender-sided sites in the meta right now, and they've successfully managed 2 attacks. The first one where they wiped out the entire team in a 2v3 before that, and then of course that was a plant and a kill just then as well. So definitely really well played there from Underground. Team 7 now looking to change things up. Not unexpected given the performance they've just put on. Certainly don't count them out just yet, but I think a change of pace is more than welcome here.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, overall the pace from UG so far has been that of one. The first round was very aggressive. The second round was very calculated. They had the trades, they had everything required. So overall, it did really, really well for UG in terms of how they adapted to what Team 7 are doing. And they're going to give up on the bottom floor, rightfully so. They've lost it twice. Move on, try something else. Because if they don't, UG will just, repeat offense. They've done it so many times already in this matchup. So good for Team 7 to make the shift and go over to bedroom.
Definitely also showing that coordination coming out from Underground is topping the pro league experience of Derpe, and I think that speaks to the amount of coordination and synergy that Underground are bringing, and we've seen this a lot of times. It's not just a single player who is doing all the work, it's them working together. Oh, that's an interesting play. JPK does take a ton of damage, but so does Hunter. Positions now given away, and they're going to be forced to fall back each.
Team 7 and UG both respectively have not lost any players, but I mean, you look at the health of Hunter and JPK, you could technically count that as somewhat of a loss, but I mean, MML downstairs could be the difference between the first frag and the last. He's under the hatch here inside of pool. Doesn't realize that player is, well, he will hear the player on the hatch. Unfortunately, doesn't realize that the player has backed off. Phoenix will make a very sneaky decision to run away, but Spud, I mean, overall, there is still plenty of time left here for UG to work with. They've got over towards cash control. They've got 1 player set up here on these main windows. holding on for one of these jump outs should Team 7 choose to do it. And let's be honest, they're a very aggressive team. They usually like to employ that jump out type of strategy, play for those early kills. But right now, it's a bit of a stalemate, Spud. Control for both sides, but no one really committing to anything just yet.
Yeah, the CCTV position has been given up with a minute to go, but so is Zuve. 1 down to 4 to go. Phoenix, however, gets traded back out. Eraser on the job now, and it's a 4v4. And again, not much control, significant control for either team. MML might be the difference here, as he is able to push through the center of the site, cut off the players in gym, but Hunter behind him, I don't think MML has any idea.
Team 7 dropping like flies. Another one goes down. Sealy, unfortunately, will not be with us for the rest of this round. It's all up to Hunter and Derpe, the super sub and the main core man himself. He knows that there's one close left here. They're playing for denial down below. Lumi is going to be trying to get this diffuser down, trying to bait the nitro, but it's heard. He's been allowed to run up the main stairs. He vaults on through. Will he be able to spot the diffuser? Yes, no. He gets taken down by Lumi. He's covering the planter here. No, that was Lumi, the planter himself. MML finds Derpe on the main stairs, and UG, they consolidate 3 here. Team 7. What's going on?
Well, Lumi can do it all. Not only can he plant, he can also kill. He is the star player indeed right now. That was a close call. MML caught looking the wrong way on that rotate, but thankfully Lumi was sharp as ever. A couple of dropped balls there from Team 7. They did have a fairly good hold of the site. I think there was still about a minute left, and they still had control of most of the site. But again, calculated aggression from Underground, I think, really hitting the weak spots of Team 7. They know when to play it right, they know when to go in, and they're able to get those kills at the perfect time. Again, time was starting to tick down. There's about a minute left, and Team 7 still had control of the site, but really well played from Underground. That's going to be a 3rd round. Team 7 do start to seem to be struggling.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on with Team 7. I mean, they've got the whole roster, except for obviously Derpe being the one to fill in tonight for possibly Campo. But overall, UG, I mean, this is a completely different beast. They are definitely here to hunt for one of those top 4 spots. I mean, this is absolutely insane to see from them. I mean, week in, week out, they've struggled to get that initial momentum. But Spud, they are here on Clubhouse, absolutely sending it right now.
And of course, if Surf Esports after this do lose their game against Kraken, that means Underground well and truly will be in that playoffs. I'm sure both of these teams know that, and I'm sure Underground is more than aware, but it doesn't seem to be affecting them in any way negatively, at least. They are playing the game of their life so far. 3-0 up has been almost perfect siege, I would say, but for a few mistakes here or there. But certainly learning and adapting fast. MML will find Derpe caught, unfortunately, making some holes. This is not the right time to be doing renovations.
UG are just absolutely collapsing on Team 7 right now. Zuve finds one onto Phoenix. They've got the double OSA set up outside the main breach, which we are seeing teams employ a whole lot more in this current meta, given that OSA is so well utilized in the correct hands. I mean, look at this. Garage is completely clear. UG have full reign over pretty much everything that they want right now. The main breach is open. Garage is theirs to control, and the 3 players from Team 7 are just locked into this site, trying to hold on to what they've got left, which, let's be honest, Bud, is not a whole lot.
MML with the 2nd grenade kill for this round. That's 2 for 2. Very, very claustrophobic now. Hunter does at least find 1 for his troubles, but Vandal is on low health. Will get healed up at least, but again, it's a very, very claustrophobic site. Not much rotation space at all, and Lumi now once again going for the diffuser. He's well and truly covered. I'm afraid this is all over for Team 7 unless some miracle occurs.
Yeah, crosses are being held. JPK cleans up what's left of Hunter, and now Vandal in a 1 versus 4. He's not even going to get one spot. Eraser once more proving to us he can lock a round down. I mean, it was a 4 versus 1. If they hadn't locked that down, I would have been quite scared for the longevity of the roster. But overall, UG, that was as close as they could have possibly got to a flawless round. Within the first few minutes, walls open, everything set up, garage is under their control, and it's a 5 versus 3. Spud, I don't know how much perfect that could be, because Team 7, they're currently sitting pretty in 2nd place. this team is one that is, I wouldn't say guaranteed playoffs, given how close our top end of the leaderboard currently is, with all the teams, 2-3 points away between themselves. But Team 7 are definitely a little bit more safe in terms of where UG are currently sitting in 5th. So, I mean, yes, maybe they aren't too worried about seeding, but at the end of the day, you're down 0-4 on a defender-sided map, one of the best defender-sided maps, I would say, personally at the moment.
5 seconds to go.
However, this is an amazing showing from UG. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for, Spud, from this roster for how many weeks now? I mean, it's so good to see it finally coming to fruition for them.
Now, the plan on that previous round was executed perfectly. They got the breach, they got garage control, they got everything exactly where and when they wanted it. On the other hand, for Team 7, it seems like those fundamentals did slip a little bit, and I am concerned because these are fundamentals that you need to be able to master in order to play at a high level. It's not even a matter of hiding strats, it's just not holding on to garage, peeking things when you don't need to be. Things like that, which seem to be costing Team 7 at the moment.
Yeah, definitely overcommitting, I would say. I mean, even instances like this where a kill would be great for Team 7, unfortunately, they're just sort of missing by the leeway. A lot of damage has been dealt to JPK, but that's not a frag. It doesn't give them any real advantage, and Team 7 have now opted to go back down to the bottom floor. They want to try it one more time before the half is over. You can't really blame them, but UG, I mean, it's like clockwork right now. They are just going to town upstairs, clearing these roamers out and sorting themselves out. Kills like that. I mean, Phoenix caught on a rotation. I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, and no backup as well. He was there up by himself, no one to cover him at all, and he's paid the price for it. That, again, is a free pick that really should not have been given to Underground. You're looking at Phoenix, you're one of your star players, your top fraggers, now already off the board. This is not a good look.
Also, you can also highlight Eraser actually hasn't died this match. He's 6-0 right now, looking to make it more. And UG, considerably as well, are looking to find one more round to add to their count. They are holding a man advantage. They've got good damage on Vandal, good damage on Derp, and they're looking for an execute spud. This could be a 5-0, possibly a 6-0 half if UG play their cards right.
Look, I wouldn't put it past them just based on how well UG are playing. They've still got 5 players left to work on this execute. And 45 seconds to go. That's plenty of time considering the control they have. They've got all the hatches, they've got all the options. MML have will take out Derp. I thought that was the other way around, but a beautiful kill there. And now the player advantage is just more and more in favor of Team Underground. Look at that, 5-2. It could be flawless.
MML on the Yana right now, doing huge things for UG. It's all up to Hunter and Sealy. Make it just Hunter now once more on a 1vx. He's found himself locked inside of Dirt. He's got the SMG on a long angle going up against multiple ARs, and he's just going to have to disappear into Dirt. Shotgun in hand, he finds one, not the second though. MML's good for 3 in the round, and UG lock it down to absolutely show us that they have finally found their stride. They are 5 rounds up here, Spud, with no answer from Team 7 whatsoever. No rounds. I wouldn't even say too many close ones. The first round was genuinely the closest that we've seen in this matchup. UG are all over it right now.
Yeah, to put that into perspective, out of 5 rounds, there have been 3 rounds where they've managed to plant. That is not something you usually see on Clubhouse for attackers. And the fact they're 5-0 up, they have just wiped the floor for Team 7 so far. And look, I don't want to be a naysayer here. I don't want to, roast Team 7 too hard because they are a really good team, but they need to put in the numbers, the round count to show us that. And so far, it just does not look good for them at all. Everyone, look, just look at the stats. Everyone is going negative except for Hunter, who is on a 1. On a 1.0. Everyone else, Sealy hasn't got a single kill yet, and that's just got to be hurting Team 7 right now.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah, you look at the scoreboard. I mean, as you said, Sealy, Derp, Vandal, they're Phoenix even are all struggling tonight. It is Hunter that is sort of having his star player moment right now, sort of leading the charge on a lot of the damage being dealt. But Spud UG, they don't really care who's leading the charge because they themselves are 5 rounds up and they are not breaking a sweat just yet.
Yeah, so far so good, and I definitely think this next one could be an underground round as well. We could be in for a quick match, and I didn't expect it would be this one of all matches to end so quickly. But of course, Team 7 are still in the fight. They still have their attack to go, and maybe they are also very, very proficient at attacking on Clubhouse. So we are yet to see, but so far, the swing of things definitely in favor of underground.
Yeah, underground could still fumble the bag, Spud. Keep in mind, Team 7 do have to attack as well, which means that they could, you know, do the same thing that UG have essentially done in this half. They could 5-0 it, we could go to overtime. Anything is really on the cards in a Rainbow Six Siege game, especially when you've got two teams that are so very experienced in different retrospectives. UG have been playing at this level for an extended period. Team 7 have been playing in other Tier 2, Tier 1 leagues for that extended period of time as well. But UG, arguably in this matchup, looks so much more comfortable, and I don't know how they're doing it, but they are just dismantling everything Team 7 are bringing to the board right now.
That Oceania has been doing so much work. I really like how they've been using it. It's been providing a lot of long angles that have been cutting Team 7 off and stopping their rotates. Team 7 finally able to find the opening pick, but will it be enough? Eraser goes down, his very first death, but there's still 4 other players to contend with. And with all the walls open now, and MML on the roam once again, could be another dangerous moment for Team 7. Or,
I mean, MML locks one out through the floor. He takes down Dirtbay, and I mean, the Super Sub has been getting quite unlucky tonight. You know, 1 and 6 on supporting characters is rather unfortunate. But in saying that, 4 versus 4 is doable. Eraser has been handed his first death of the evening, so anything is possible here as we come into the final 40 seconds for round number 6, the end of the half. UG are looking to make it that 6-0. Team 7 are at least looking for something to walk away with at the end of this half because they haven't really found too much. However, we look at the spread. 1 inside of each site, 1 in Logi, 1 off-site right now as UG is starting to push their way through. MML once more leading the charge. Knows there is a player close by. The TCSG rings out, but it doesn't connect. Some damage dealt. That's about it. Sealy does take a lot of damage, but it's Phoenix who actually opens it up. He finds the first on the Lumi. The refrag coming in now from MML as well to find another, almost a second. Phoenix, so much damage taken, unfortunately not the kill, but UG, they lead the charge. The diffuser's down, it needs to be retrieved. It's MML chasing it out, but Phoenix finds a huge 2 kills. Zuve can't find them quick enough. Phoenix takes him out. And unfortunately for UG, the clean streak is gone. And we did see MML run out of ammo there. That could have been a UG round if Phoenix had gone down, but he didn't. He survived the onslaught, and Team 7 are going to find something before it ends off the back of a huge play from Phoenix.
is it enough though? At this point in time, is 5-1 up. It's better than nothing, but certainly not the half that Team 7 were hoping for. And of course, now going on to the attack, they face what is arguably a more difficult side to deal with. That means, of course, they got to pull out all the strategies they've got. No more strat saving now. It is a little too late for that. Underground, on the other hand, have a lot of rounds to work with, but I don't expect them to be letting their foot off the gas anytime soon.
No, I don't at all. But they go onto the defense now with Mirror on the board. And Spud, I mean, there's a reason that she's banned in pretty much every game or majority of games. There's also a reason she's not bought too much anymore after her nerfs. But Mirror overall as a whole is an absolutely insane character. Now we turn our gaze over to the scoreboard. ML 11 and 4. Spud.
It's a pretty big number there. 11 is already in the double digits. I expect the Razor 2 will probably hit that as well if, you know, Team 7 don't all die before he gets there. But yeah, big numbers being put out from Underground, but that's not to say the rest of the team aren't putting in the effort as well. MML looking for that pick. Neither player connecting at the moment, but he will at least force Phoenix to slow down a little bit. They know there's some presence there. Bait out a C4 at least. And a kill coming in.
Yeah. But it's actually Phoenix. He's just going to jump on the Ash and look to send it on through. Finds MML. And overall, he's looking for some more inside of blue here, but he's just going to opt to back off at the moment. Team 7 have found some good traction taking out the top fragger right now for UG. And they're making pretty solid work of the rest of the building. Hatch is being opened up here by Steely. Everything's sort of just working how it needs to right now. JPK hitting the lull, not too sure what's going on inside of the site. Maybe some drone shenanigans. But right now, UG, I mean, they're going to impact trick that hatch. They're just going to try and hold on for as long as they can.
Yeah, considering the time that Team 7 have to work with, this does put a significant amount of pressure onto Underground. I mean, they've got 2 minutes to work all these hatches, to apply all the pressure they need and play the vertical. They've got the sledge in tow, they've got all 5 ops still here. That's going to be difficult for Underground. They do have some nice positions to hide behind, but with that soft walls in play and this hatch now finally being opened, it's a lot less safe to be. Oh. Nice
there he goes. Sealy finds another onto Lumi.
His first.
Yeah, actually. But is it too late? Is it too late, Spard? UG have plenty of rounds to work with. Keep in mind, they also still have some great players alive. Zuve, Eraser, and JPK in these situations are insane. Another Nitro baited out, unfortunately not connecting for UG. As it comes down to the last minute, Phoenix finds another onto Zuve. He's awoken late into this matchup. It's actually Eraser to drop the diffuser, doesn't find the player coming in from dirt. And unfortunately now it's all up to JPK. He gets 1 for his troubles, but Phoenix with 3 in the round, he fires up for Team 7 and they find a second.
Well, it seems like Team 7 is certainly speeding things up. Phoenix once again leading the charge on that entry. When all things go wrong, just press mouse 1 and kill everyone. And so far it has worked out pretty well. They applied a lot of pressure to site right off the bat, and with the lack of roamers, Team 7 really given free reign really to pressure that site to do as they pleased. And then it was just a pick here, a pick there. It all started to snowball. Without any roamers, there was no way Underground could actually trade back, especially no C4s to come back up as well. That would have been one of the ways they could get a trade. And that meant, of course, in the dying seconds of the round, it was JPK against the world. He got 1 for his troubles, but it wasn't enough. 5-2 now. Team 7 have started a little bit of a comeback, but you know, still a long way to go.
Still 3 rounds behind the counterpart. UG do still hold a pretty firm grasp of the lead in this game, and provided, you know, 1 more round is really all that separates them from match point. And well, if they lose it, it doesn't really do too much until they lose 3. So hopefully they don't do that. But they are definitely still in the driving seat. That first round from Team 7, yes, very aggressive, worked out great for them. Phoenix has finally awoken, but is it enough to pull Team 7 through?
Now, of course, all hunkered down on site once again. No early peek this time from MML, so I think they have decided to double down on their anchor strategy. Last time, of course, losing a player early did cost them in terms of being able to trade out things at the end. So they will learn from those mistakes, but will it be enough? Once again, Team 7 get early control of the map and are able to play this as much as they want. It's a question of whether, of course, Underground will be able to get trades.
Yeah, if Underground can trade out kills here, or even maybe find Phoenix early, that would be great. You know, take off that large pushing power that he himself brings. They've got 2 people stacked in blue this time to directly contest him, as the hatch is still yet to be opened as well. UG are just sort of trying to be a thorn in the side right now for Team 7, and they're doing it a lot more efficiently than they did in the previous round. I mean, all these Habana pellets being taken out by impacts. It's just forcing utility out the hands of Team 7, but UG overall are doing really well so far. So it's good to see the change-up has worked out for them on this second attempt at the downstairs defense.
Yeah, a lot more time has been burnt now. Half of the round gone, and this time they've got all their players alive. No one's going to be hanging around the hatch. No one's going to be hanging around the blue, giving things away for free. Instead, they're holding onto these power positions. That blue spot's so difficult to push out. It seems that Team 7 have just given up on it and are looking to probe a different approach. Phoenix might be looking to go down those main stairs, certainly clearing out the vertical in preparation. But Hunter has snuck his way all the way up in blue. does spot out a player, but a barricade probably will give him away.
He's got the diffuser as well, keep in mind, so it's not going to be coming from the hatch, which means he is going to have to fight his way through dirt. 2 kills for Team 7 ring out. It is going to be Hunter to find the first. Vandal follows it up with another Phoenix now for 1 as well. JPK does trade back on the Hunter, but at this point, everything is going wrong for UG. Phoenix finds a second. Zube finds Vandal. It's a 1v3. A Nitro comes out. It doesn't connect. Phoenix gets another. He's on fire right now on this Ash on the attacking side, and UG, very similar to how Team 7 was struggling on the bottom floor, they're doing exactly that as well. They cannot find a conversion downstairs in the basement today.
Seems we are seeing the rise of attacker-sided Clubhouse, perhaps. This is the new meta, folks. Defense for both teams seems to be a little lackluster. I'm not sure how much the ban here of Castle is hurting Underground. I don't think... certainly they haven't played into that gym bedroom site yet, and there wasn't any indication they wanted to have any roaming presence on the basement site. But Team 7 slowly but steadily closing the gap. They've halved the gap between them so far, but still another 2 rounds. 2 rounds also is what Underground needs to close this out.
We said at the start that this site was arguably one of the better sites for defenders. Downstairs. Both teams unable to really do too much in terms of actually winning it. But Team 7 did finally manage to make something happen towards the end of their defense, but that was in the upstairs master side. So UG, very similarly to what Team 7 did, they're going to switch up the play. They're going to go to CC Cash and hope that they can find match point soon.
Yeah, adding that bit of extra pressure to Team 7 will certainly help, but so far it has been a fairly slow start, even for Underground. No spawn peeking, no silly shenanigans running out there. Team 7, relatively quick with this wall as well. They will get that open in good time. 30 seconds used up. That's going to be the main breach.
Quick time as well. Team 7 not really messing around here. He's already moved off to go and get that single con wall as well. And open up a lot of avenues for cutoffs, but not only that, just sort of pretty much everything in terms of utility. Now, JPK is going to be on a flank up main stairs here. He does hear the drone coming towards him. He will now also be spotted, which is going to force him back downstairs. So this does buy Team 7 some time, but UG are definitely on the hunt, and Team 7 are aware of that.
The more time Underground are able to burn out, the less that Team 7 have to work with for their execute. Going now for that back wall, and that's a bit awkward. It seems dropped a little too short, but I think this wall will still be opened. Underground know that this is now a very, very claustrophobic site. There's not much room to rotate around, but Master, the main breach is actually not being watched. That could be the weakness that allows Underground to slip past the watching eyes of Team 7.
JPK still being downstairs is also quite large because he can watch that walk-in from down on that hatch if he chooses to try and play something like that. But it's going to be Hunter to find one. Phoenix jumps in for another, walks towards red, unfortunately fragged out by Eraser. Now, no one being on the main breach means that they don't actually have any specific avenues to deny. Eraser finds another. Derpe finds the cross, however, onto JPK. And Eraser very quickly once more finds himself in another 1 versus X situation on the post. He holds for the first. He finds Hunter. A triple for him. He's on for the ace right now. He finds the 4th. He's locking in for the ace. Derpe is all that stands between him and 5 members taken off the board with a defuse under his belt right now for UG. He's going to opt for the Ninja. He has plenty of time to try and bait this out, but Derpe, he's playing it smart. He's playing the long game. He goes for the flank into con. This has been called out. Possibly Derpe seems to know that a player is coming from that instance, but that shot definitely gives him away. He's not going to get all 5. Derpe's going to lock it out. Team 7 are going to find that round. Even if he had found the ace, he wouldn't have got the defuse, but Spud, it was a good attempt nonetheless. 4 is still very respectable, but Team 7 now, they inch closer to equalizing this one more 5-5.
It was almost a 1v3 clutch, but he just missed out just by a little bit. Yeah, again, very, very closely played. Really well played from Eraser. It was a valiant attempt. You couldn't have asked for a better attempt. But unfortunately, UG do drop that round. And now, despite that 4-round lead, Team 7 are now a single round behind Underground. This could be a comeback for Team 7, and Underground definitely not going to be feeling happy about them catching up in such a fashion.
Spud, overall, I mean, this is, yeah, as was just said to us in our ears, this is the opposite of what we expect from UG. Usually they are slow on the start, great in the finish. Today they were great in the start and have been slow in the second half. And I did actually say it, like, we could very well see Team 7 absolutely come alive on attack, start dropping rounds, and we've seen exactly that. Phoenix has woken up. Hunter has been going absolutely insane, and with great support as well. Derpe clutching out that round. He might only have 3 kills, but they only won that round because of Derpe. So, you know, impact frag spot.
Yeah, things are starting to work a little bit better for Team 7, and they are showing, of course, why they were that second place team. Yeah, despite the chips being down here, they have still managed to come back and pull things together. Phoenix, though, taking a lot of damage early on, and they lose that spearhead. Things could look a little quite different for Team 7.
Yeah, given that he's on low HP, it's definitely going to hurt later on if he does come into a gunfight where he needs it. But look at the roaming situation here from UG. They're spread out across multiple floors. They know that there are people downstairs in the mid floor too, but Derpe is going to find the no razor to fall. And there you go. Celia actually doubles down. He takes Zuve out as well. Now for Team 7, that is a great start. They've got one isolated on the top floor as well. JPK in a little bit of trouble now, as there's a player coming from red, one inside of CC, and there you go. He falls to Vandal in the end. But overall, UG, I mean, this is just an absolute collapse. They have lost all of the playroom that they had gained themselves in that first half. Team 7 have just absolutely turned the burners on and gone to town. They're looking to enter into the site. I mean, Phoenix is, oh my days, looming. He's put to sleep in such a fashion that, I mean, that's going to hurt a lot. But overall, this is a UG round. It's a flawless, this is a Team 7 round, a flawless one at that. They equalize, and UG, everything that they'd worked hard for in that first half, it's gone.
Just like that, it's 5-5. Underground, they were looking at a 6-0 half at one point. Turned 5-1, and then things just spiraled out of control. 5-5 now. Both teams 1 away from taking that match point. Tactical pause coming out from Underground Gaming, and who could blame them? They need that pause. They need that reset. Force that momentum from Team 7 to cool down a little bit, and yeah, just talk things out, because whatever they are doing, it has not been working this half.
Nothing has worked this half for UG at all. Currently, we are yet to see them win a defensive round whatsoever. Similar to what we saw from Team 7, but I have a very strong feeling that Team 7 are possibly going to win this game, Spud. Not due to the fact that UG, shouldn't win it. They had a great start overall, but their mid-game, this game, has just been... It's not been what it needs to be. That it is as simple as that. Unfortunately, it is not where it needed to be at, especially against a team like Team 7. I mean, this is where their experience as Tier 1, Tier 2, professional players sort of trumps the experience that UG have. While yes, it is a lot, and it is a respectable, at a respectable level, it's not Tier 1, it's not official Tier 2. And that is where Team 7 in the longevity side of things start to perform. I mean, we've seen it round in, round out. They were down by 5 Spud. And they have come back. They started off with the first round on that defense that they locked in before the switch. And now they've gone 4 flawless with a proper flawless round that we just witnessed. I mean, Phoenix went from 3 kills to 14 in a matter of rounds. And we are now staring at a 5-5. They've equalized, and this is the difference maker. This could be where Team 7 find 2 more and lock it out, or we could go to overtime. UG really need to pick up what's left and try for a couple rounds here.
Ground also needs to consider their point situation. They are a single point behind, as we mentioned, Surf Esports. And if Surf Esports lose, then perhaps Underground could make it through if they get an overtime hit. So that's 1 point they need to get at least one round. One round is not a lot, but it's also at this point in time a lot to be asking of them, given how well Team 7 have been playing. It's going to be difficult for both these teams, but Team 7 certainly on fire at this point.
Well, not even just Team 7, but like Hunter Phoenix. I mean, both with the supporting other supporting factors have just been doing absolute bits for the roster. Now Phoenix is going to be leading the charge once more. He opts for the vault in here. Indicon takes that valuable control, and again, Team 7, you know, they've got that sort of single con. They are still working on the main wall, but they don't really need it. A con execute is what their focus is and was in the previous round. With the bandit trick here from Eraser, things are going to be slightly difficult. Oh, that's a huge C4, especially as well. JPK takes down Derpe. Look at the damage, though. Phoenix and Sealy within an inch of their own lives.
Such an electrified wall, and that could be it. It's going to make charging it very, very difficult.
Hang on a minute.
Phoenix, unless
he's in the site. He didn't get too much, though. He only found it down... well, sorry, he did find 8 kills.
He got Lumi, yeah.
He got Lumi, but then missed out. So, unfortunately, not as effective as we would have hoped. But it looks like it's just going to be a dive onto the side. It's going to be Hunter leading the charge. He, too, will go down in the fray. JPK finds another onto Vandal, and now, very quickly, it's all up to Sealy. He can't res either of his teammates, given the positions that they are in. Eraser confirmed for 2. JPK for the final, and UG finally put themselves back in this matchup. They go up on a match point, but I think overtime is looming, Spud.
That's at least 1 point for UG, but Team 7, they need to pull something back out. The resurrection was almost complete. Phoenix rising from the ashes the last couple of rounds, but with that C4 and the kill onto Derpe, things just started unraveling. I mean, they were so coordinated before. Just look at how they were pinching underground, playing that roam upstairs, and then suddenly they started in walking in one by one. Phoenix just kind of bomb rushed in. He got Lumi, but then was down in a position that was not recoverable, so he's pretty much dead. And then the next player, I think Hunter, ran in, and he was dead. And then the ace was standing in the doorway again, one by one by one. A little bit puzzling to me, given how well they've been performing. So, not quite sure what happened there, but, you know, still, it shows that even when the chips are down, Team 7 are able to fight back. I mean, just look at Phoenix. He saw he was on 10 health. He was like, you know what? Let's just get a pick for our trouble. And he just went right in. Underground, not expecting that. It worked.
I understand the mentality behind the dive onto the site. However, the way in which it was executed was not the most cost-effective method for Team 7. As you said, filing in one by one by one ultimately didn't work out. Hunter actually found his opening kill. Could have then been traded. I mean, if there were more people in the site, more bodies to focus on, could have led to something different. Overall, it doesn't really matter. The round was won by UG. So Team 7, in doing such, they do cost themselves that match point. But as we said, you know, with that experience, everything that they've been working up to at this point, this is most likely going to go to an overtime, if I had to guess. But I hope that UG can pleasantly surprise us and close it out here for their sake and their run into the top 4.
It's always a great storyline either way, and Underground always just on the cusp of making it, and then finally qualifying right in the dying weeks of the tournament. That's a great story for anyone to be watching. So, for their sake, we hope perhaps they will close this out, but we can't quite count out Team 7 yet. Once again, very, very efficient. 2 minutes remaining. They've got the main, they've got CCTV breach open. They're now prepping to open the second wall. And with those OSA shields in place, it's going to cut off so many rotates and make life very difficult for Underground.
Well, the main wall on Jacuzzi now opened up here as well by Hunter. An impact there from Lumi, which I don't actually think, unfortunately, broke the shield. Speaking of Lumi, he only has 1 health remaining, Spud, which is not a lot to work with. And we see Zuve here on the other side of the map, just chilling inside a secret. Now, Vandal may have a camera on him here. I'm not too sure if that camera can see him, but MML is going to hit a great nitro from downstairs to take Phoenix out on that main balcony. Now, this is huge. However, Hunter finds one to trade. Zuve downstairs fighting Derpe, has done some good damage, hasn't found the kill just yet, but takes a considerable amount himself. Is going to have to disengage from the fight for the moment. But, in saying that, 1 pick for 1 pick, UG have not come out on top at all.
Derpe using a bit of time to hunt out Suve. He will cut off the support, so Suve is all by himself, but that's time taken away from the execute. And with MML still on those main stairs, he could easily come back up and cut off, even flank through that logistics position. So they are going to have to deal with him at some point in time, sooner rather than later. Derpe, however, is in a position soon to find Suve, and that drop might have given him away, but oh no, Suve will be the one to come up on top of this surely now underground.
Hang on a minute. Vandal's in a frost mat here. They are going to be able to lock this out unless Hunter can go huge. He's got one player down. They are waiting for the res, but Hunter's not going to opt for it. The hip fire from behind, a razor. If he'd have missed that, it would have been interesting, but it doesn't matter. UG finally make something happen on their defensive side. Thankfully, they did not fumble that bag, but Spud at the end of the day, UG win. They beat Team 7. It was a very rough mid-game for them, but in the end, when it came down to, as you would say, the chips are on the table, you know, they got the job done on Dub House, and that's all it is for them. It is Dub House. They ultimately converted towards the end of the match, but that was definitely a little bit too close for comfort. I mean, we see it in the replays. It was a trade back and forth basically on the half. Team 7, I mean, Phoenix came alive, Spud, doing absolute work for them on that attacking side, but overall, UG, they just made the best of it and ultimately walked away with a victory.
Yeah, starting things off strong, we can see here in the replays, MMRL, I believe that was a 4K at this point in time. A beautiful floor bang as well. 5-0 at one point, then 5-1, and then that's when things turned around. As we mentioned, it was definitely closer than they would have had liked. Team 7, though, for their part, also really well played. They fought back valiantly. A great attempt there as well from a Razor, a quad kill, almost an ace clutch. Wasn't quite enough, but they did get there in the end off the back of the frost mat as well. That was one of my favorite parts. I think this bit, yeah.
Yeah, look, that the hip fire there was quite entertaining at the end, and as I said, how he fumbled it. It would have made for some great content, but overall, Spud, I mean, great things from a Razor in that game. That quad kill, had that turned into an ace defuse, that would have been absolutely insane for UG. The momentum that would have gained them. I mean, just think of it. Besides that, I mean, that is an insane clip. But speaking of insane, we are going to get to talk with the super coach / sub for Underground Gaming. Lumi is joining us in the booth for an interview. First of all, congratulations on your debut to LPL Pro, mate. First 2 weeks have been absolutely insane from you. But overall, you've done great. How do you think the team's performing, not only with you on it, but just in general, given that you are the coach? Give us a bit of an insight to how UG are taking things day in, day out.
Look, like, I don't know, we try really hard in our scrims, you know, it's just, we've had other players that we're supposed to get, but due to like timing, I've had to come in, but it's good, like everyone's kept a level head, it's not like we're freaking out or anything, we're just chilling, we're taking the rounds as they go. We had we had like a really good start in the attacking half, and then, I don't know, like when we were like 5-4 down, or like 5-4 up, we were just like, we just need to chill, think about it, and then yeah, we kind of got through in the end. We're doing good.
Yeah, I want to talk about that moment in the round. 5-5, you took a tactical timeout. What sort of work did you do there? Because obviously it worked out really well, and something must have changed there.
So what we were thinking was, when we played our last CC round, we were thinking we got them to take a lot more time. Because usually on our basement rounds, as you can see, they were just taking site control like it was nothing. So when we went to CC, we thought we can slow them down a little bit more than usual. And then I guess, I mean, like after Phoenix just crouched his way into cash and like scared the shit out of us, we like just calmed down. And then, yeah, I mean, we just thought that we were a bit stronger, and yeah, it seemed to work out.
Overall, Lumi, you guys have done great. And I mean, your introduction to the roster for the last 2 weeks has been a rather pleasant one at that. The 1v2 last week to clutch it out and another dub under your belt. I mean, are you the difference maker? I guess we'll find out next week if you're there or not. But Lumi, congrats. It's been an absolute pleasure having you in, and we hope to see some more good things for UG going towards playoffs. So anything you want to say just before you go?
Thanks to the boys for getting me in the roster. I'm glad the coach could make a difference, and yeah, we'll keep winning.
There you go. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Lumi from UG, an absolutely insane player in and out of the lobby, I'm sure. But Spud, game number 1 wraps up with UG taking, I would say, a good win, not a convincing one, but a great one over Team 7. We head to the break just before we get into game number 2. So go get yourselves some refreshment, maybe some Biocode Lab behind the scenes, and we'll be right back after these breaks.
That guy's Energy here, and I am here at the Sky Tower in Taimaki Makaurau to check out the new Sky Slide, which is just opened. Let's go check it out. This is their brand new virtual reality experience based up on their main observation deck. It's a crazy ride, offering 360-degree views of Auckland at up to 100 kilometers per hour. The motion platform imitates the 3D rendered open-air slides, twists and turns above the skies of Taimaki Makaurau. Counting down. Punch it. Let me at him. Hey! Free air. Whoa! Whoever's done the render for this has done like an incredible job. Whoa! It's also really comfortable, like the motion platform's super nice. It's actually really selling all of these like different twists and turns. Another free fall, whoa! Whoa! We're heading home, boys, we're heading home. Whew. So it's $40 for the experience, which includes viewing platform access, or it's just $15 on top of your tower ticket. And it's for ages 8 and up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from the break. We are here once more. Spud, an absolutely insane game to kick us off for the night. UG winning 7-5 against Team 7 on Clubhouse.
Yeah, there's a bit of a close one there in the mid-round. They started off strong, 5-1 on their attacking half, but then things swung back around. 4 consecutive rounds to Team 7 made it 5-5. Fortunately for Underground, a tactical timeout seemed to have worked wonders. They were able to take out the next 2 rounds to secure themselves the win and 3 points on their score, which means, of course, they are now in range of that playoff spot.
Yeah, depending on the rest of the games for the night, obviously UG could be contending for one of those top 4 spots. But for game number 2, Get a Grip versus F2 is a game that is going to be an interesting one. Get a Grip, obviously a roster, again, with that experience in Tier 2, high Tier 2, 6 finishing second in the respective league they played last season. Spud, this roster is an absolutely banging roster with some great names on it.
Yeah, I mean, we have some real veterans here who have been around for a very, very long time, and with that comes the experience. Of course, last season they also played in LPL Pro. They missed out on the playoffs just by a single point. So they would have been looking at challenging that this time. Unfortunately, I think they might be out of the running, but who knows, something miraculous might happen. You never know until it's really over.
Yeah, you do never know. Obviously, Get a Grip, an absolutely insane roster. But going up against them tonight, F2, a roster that has left a lot for us to be desired. I mean, Spud, they talked a big game. They had a roster that they thought was going to do great, but so far they haven't really found too much traction.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, it just has not been the same success that they enjoyed in other leagues. They have been struggling against multiple teams. Having said that, they have shown some promising results. In terms of the score rounds, and in terms of the rounds that they do win, it is quite in their favor and it is a glimpse of hope. I think with time, this roster can certainly achieve better things. It seems it's a little too late in the season now. They're hoping at least to get some rounds under their belt, get some experience, and then maybe next season things could be different.
Yeah, I think with some roster changes, maybe some strat changes, things like that, F2 could be a great roster. But the head-to-head brought to us by Biocode Lab is going to highlight one of those players that we do think from both teams is a very deserving. Jin, I mean, week in, week out, again, we spoke about it briefly, an absolutely insane player. He finds space, he makes space for his team and leads the charge most of the rounds. But Curvin is a player for F2 that has had his moments here and there. Maybe not as consistent as Jin, but week in, week out, Curvin does prove that he can make things happen. I mean, he clutched up that 1v2 in the last play day against CS just before they rebranded, when they versed. Things like that. Curvin has his moments. So for F2, he's going to be a pretty big ray of hope tonight.
Yeah, when enabled, Curvin is able to put in the damage, and we have seen him punish other teams who have taken him and his team a little too lightly. And that, of course, is going to be something Get a Grip need to be aware of. 90 Jin, I mean, I've seen him play a lot. He always does wonders, very, very mechanically gifted. I just wonder how it's going to go tonight against F2. Of course, Get a Grip, as you mentioned, some good results previously as well. They did take out Circular Spheres, now Surf Esports, in that very first week after mounting a comeback from, I believe it was a 6-1 at one point. So Get a Grip, they certainly have the ability. Both of these teams have potential. It's just sometimes the consistency is missing.
Well, Spud, for the vetoes this evening in game number 2, where are we off to? I don't believe it's going to be Clubhouse, but it is going to be Oregon. Now, if you know Get a Grip, if you're an avid Get a Grip enjoyer, you know that this is one of their most proficient maps. If you're an avid F2 enjoyer, you know that they haven't really found any victories inside of LPL Pro. This is going to be difficult. How they let this get through on the map vetoes, I'm not too sure, but I guess they're confident if they're going to let it go all the way to the end, Spud, especially against a team like Get a Grip, whoever I've mentioned. This is one of their better maps. I mean, if you give Jin Finker and let him walk around, he usually finds 3 kills in a round. So F2, I'm not too sure. I mean, they had the choice over Clubhouse in Oregon. They went to Oregon. I mean, do I rate it? Probably not the smartest of ideas, but hey, Get a Grip, they're probably happy with how the veto turned out.
I mean, by the time you get to that point, it's either Clubhouse or Oregon. You probably want to go with something you have played. And F2 have played Oregon, at least in this LPL Pro season. That was against Kraken. It was a loss, but 3-7. So they did at least take 3 rounds off Kraken. And that's better than some other teams. I mean, considering Kraken against Real Demons earlier on in the season was a 7-1. Against Get a Grip was a 7-1 as well. You know, technically speaking, when playing against Kraken, you know, F2 did do better than Get a Grip, so there's something.
Yeah, Oregon could be their sort of secret map that they're good at. Keep it on when they versed CS now. Surf on Border 2 weeks ago, they got stomped. I mean, Lunchbox, there is no way to put it that is other than that. Lunchbox was just going to town. 3 rounds in a row off of spawn. They didn't leave spawn. They didn't make it in the building successfully for longer than 10 seconds at a time. So F2 have definitely got a long way to come. Hopefully between these last couple of weeks and playdays, they have been doing work outside of obviously competing, given that they didn't play last week due to a forfeit. So, you know, you'd imagine that behind the scenes, they might be putting some work in. I've seen them scrimming here and there, and let's just say that they have been having some interesting results. So hopefully they can turn those scrims and prac sessions into wins, because I mean, yes, they're not going to make top 4. There is no chance that they are going to make top 4, unfortunately, given the points that they've accumulated over the season. But in terms of stature and finishing on a high note, this would be an absolutely amazing game to win and end on said high note. You know, if they can at least find some success inside of their season, you know, it will be all for something at the end of the day. So fingers crossed for F2, but given that they are going up against one of the most proficient teams in our Tier 2 region, I don't like the chances, Spud. I really don't.
They're not good chances, that's for sure, but at least it's going to be a good learning experience. They're going to be able to bring that experience they've taken from that Kraken game, put it into work against Get a Grip and see how it works out. This is, you know, kind of a practical test for them. And certainly I expect going away from this, if they do get to play next week, I'm not sure who, I think it is actually Surf Esports who gets a bye next week. So we will probably see F2 one last time. They get one last ride to put their entire season together and maybe get a win under their belt. We would love to see it, right? It's no fun going out, you know, just giving up. And certainly that's one thing I would say for sure. F2 have not given up. Even when the chips are down, when they're losing by a significant margin, they're still willing to fight. And for that, props to them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, F2 are week in, week out. They try. They make something happen. As you said, they find a few rounds, very important rounds. Yes, it hasn't really culminated to anything great for them. And the highlight reels are sort of on them as opposed to for them. But if we're being honest, you know, they have shown a recently, you know, marginal improvement over the weeks. You know, it is a measurable improvement, and you can see it between rounds. So, unfortunately, we are having some issues in getting into said F2 game versus Get a Grip. So we are going to have to chuck it to a very short break while we get all the players into the lobby. Don't go anywhere, because this could be where F2 find their first victory. Find out with us very shortly after this very short break.
Whānau, that guy's Energy here, and I am here at the Sky Tower in Taimaki Makoto to check out the new Sky Slide, which is just open. Let's go check it out. This is their brand new virtual reality experience based up on their main observation deck. It's a crazy ride, offering 360-degree views of Auckland at up to 100 kilometers per hour. The motion platform imitates the 3D rendered open-air slides, twists and turns above the skies of Tamaki Makaurau. Counting down. Punch it. Let me at him. Hey! Free air. Whoa! Whoever's done the render for this has done like an incredible job. Whoa! It's also really comfortable. Like the motion platform's super nice. It's actually really selling all of these like different twists and turns. Another free fall, free fall. Whoa! Whoa! We're heading home, boys. We're heading home. Whew. So it's $40 for the experience, which includes viewing platform access, or it's just $15 on top of your tower ticket, and it's for ages 8 and up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back from the break. We are going to head straight on into Oregon. All the players are here, so we're not going to mess around too long. But the Roccat Burst Pro Air, a lightweight optical wireless RGB gaming mouse, is available now. Make sure you check it out before they disappear. Spud, Oregon, Get a Grip versus F2. I know we sort of harped on about it, beating a dead horse at this point, but F2's chances not great coming into this matchup. Hopefully F2 have gone away and worked very, very well with their good friend and coach Keanu, one of the best in Oceania. You do have to give it to him. But is that going to be enough to help them take rounds away from Get the Grip here? I don't know. Bands to come, as always. Flores goes first. No surprise given that we're on Oregon. The other attacking band from F2, probably going to be the Jackal, maybe a Thatcher if they're feeling like it. But Spud, what are you expecting for the defense side? It's a knock, actually, so I'm wrong in both aspects. But what are you expecting for defense?
Well, last time they played against Kraken, they banned Knock and Azami, and certainly at this level, I think it would go very, very far. I'm almost going to start writing it down because I'm pretty... Okay, never mind. You always like proving me wrong. Well, a Valkyrie's still a really good option. Remove some of that intel. But intel has been something that F2 have been struggling with, and I'm not quite sure on the value of removing it from their own pool.
Yeah, look, they're attacking first. Mirror goes, no surprise from Get a Grip, but I do like that you've highlighted that. I mean, F2 we go back to the border game, right? It is such a great highlight for the mistakes being made. Lunchbox 3 rounds in a row, he's peeking out of CC door. They have no info on him. They never take him out, and they don't really make any changes to rectify that issue whatsoever. Very similar in previous games that they've played. Their drone work is maybe not as on par as it needs to be. The use of default cameras even on defense, very similar. You know, they struggle with their information gathering as well as the information relaying, or just information tools that are provided to them. They don't use them as efficiently as they should be, which does alternatively cost them a lot. It hurts them in the long run. And teams like Get a Grip, they abuse that. You know, they play very information heavy. They play into the fact that F2 sometimes don't actually know what's going on at all because their information or lack thereof is the main issue that they are sort of experiencing in a round. So a team like Get a Grip can continue to do that, which, you know, they've got the experience to do so. Maybe we continue to see this one being another short affair for F2, but they do have some information on some of these spawn peaks, so you hope that maybe they can do some damage.
And looking at the lineup, they are investing a significant amount of information. They've got the line. Okay, never mind. They don't have the line. They have Magpie on the Dakabi. Oh, they had the line. Yeah, you just had to ruin my comment. They've got Magpie on that Dakabi. Fresh information denial as well off the back of the buff, and Corvin on the Yana. So they've got the tools as long as they don't drop to a spawn peak, right? Oh no. Oh, he actually got away with that, almost.
And confirm here.
Yeah, unfortunately, it will be a 3v3 now. iDrift does get picked up now. But yeah, this is an interesting way things have been going. A couple of freebies coming out from Get a Grip, but I don't think they're too concerned at this point in time. They have taken out a set of grenades, and they've taken out Lugia as well for that information. But yeah, I mean, still, the wall's still shut. There's no way to deny it. I think this is a pretty good position to Get a Grip.
River still holds control in Attic here at the bottom of pit, which is a great position. We've seen people like Jin in that position before, but it's Freezy who takes him down on the Ash. River falls. A shotgun now here for when the Nitro will connect if it's close enough, but no, unfortunately it isn't. They do lose the ace in the process of the wall. Possibly not even opened up. No, it's not. And I do believe that Owen and Drift, they've got plenty of time to make it happen, F2, on this execute. It's going to be a difficult one. The ace charge will go off after some considerable time, so I'm not too sure if that was just a netcode error or something like that on our end, but Drift, he's got a great angle here to hold this cross into the site. He can lock down the walk-in from that main master wall. One will be spotted, the information given away now. Drift can play off of this, looks to get aggressive, can find the headshot here on the Magpie if he's careful, spots him walking away, doesn't get the kill, but that's plenty of damage dealt. The crossfire now. Oh, when he opts to swing with the shotgun, he's good for one. The Ash charge isn't going to kill him. He almost kills his teammate. Drift swings out for the crossfire and Get a Grip lock it down on a pretty close round. I mean, Spud, that was everywhere. Up, down, left, and right. But F2, they almost had it. So if they can keep that up, this could be an interesting game for sure.
Yeah, that was actually fairly close for F2, considering as well that they lost a player early off the spawn peak. They lost a player to an unfortunate disconnect. So, you know, that's not actually that bad. Get a Grip did give a few freebies away, but if you're F2, you take those. You work with it. If they want to play overconfident and give you freebies, you take those. It's only going to be a matter of time before they realize, hang on, we can't do this anymore, and F2 are already running away. So, F2 off to a not a bad start, could be better, but Get a Grip certainly, you know, mucking around a little bit, cutting it a bit too close there. And I think they'll certainly be learning from their lesson.
Yeah, look, Get a Grip definitely with sort of donating some kills in that opening round there. I mean, the run-outs, whatnot. They did come out on top of them in terms of the kills gained. But ultimately, it was F2 that actually sort of converted it in their favor. So the blitz from Magpie is a pick that I'm questioning. However, it's looking like they want to try a blue rush here, but this might actually work out great for F2. The door comes down. Magpie leads the charge in. He's got Lugia there on support, but no one's in blue. Elbow's completely free, completely blinded as well. Drift's going to go down first, and the site is largely open for the taking. F2 explode into the bomb site. Magpie's good for another. The bomb not going down just yet. Curvin takes down Ducko as they all collapse onto the site. It's up to Owen and River to retake into a 2 versus 5. They will find one on the cross. River now spotted. He's going to get a second. He doesn't get the blitz though. Magpie's good for a third. Owen is in a very winnable position here. However, from Pillar, Curvin locks it down. He's our player to keep your eye on, an F2 off the back of some actually decent information for once are going to find a round for themselves.
Well, we have criticized F2's lack of ability to adapt in the past, and it seems they have taken a note. That was a really, really good adaptation, a good read. They saw the opening, they went for it, and it was beautifully executed. A little bit shaky in the mid-round, some players caught looking the wrong way, but in the end, they do convert, and that's what matters. Get a Grip now will know that F2 aren't here to muck around. They're here to play, and if they don't take it seriously, F2 are more than happy to take the game away from them.
I mean, overall, that was a good round from F2. Get a Grip actually almost made that theirs. They found 3 kills. You know, you've got... There was a real... I mean, okay, Spud. Great information gathering from F2. But the communication definitely looked like it was struggling. Their bomb wasn't going down. There were people just sort of standing, looking around left and right inside of the site. So the coordination wasn't the best, but the information was there and the round was won. So regardless of the outcome, regardless how they managed to do it, it happened. And Get a Grip, they're going to go back to the same site. They're going to set up exactly the same, hopefully expecting not the same thing to happen, but there is a disconnect coming out from F2 once more. The TCSG God has been removed from the game for the 2nd time this evening, but unfortunately it was outside of the prep phase. So as far as we know, no rehost at the moment until it's called otherwise. But yeah, F2, they lost their high breacher once more.
Both these teams seem to be getting free picks off, not just mistakes, but you know, it's fate. I would say. So I'm not quite sure how this is going to pan out. Still, F2 now, F2 losing their hard breacher is going to be difficult on this particular site, but this might even things out. Freezy finds 1 Lugia, a second. His entry work actually going pretty well.
Yeah, the compensator, almost too much to handle, but he finds the kill. Takes down that player in showers. Now, it's not the site. That is just a roam presence there that F2 have dealt with. But the 2 kills that they have found for the one that they lost, or well, the internet gods donated, arguably is probably one of the best starts we've seen from them so far in this game, 3 rounds in. Now, unless Jin can go huge on this roam here and retake for his teammates, unfortunately, it's not really going to amount to too much here for Get a Grip. I mean, they've lost 2 in the process, River and Owen. And other than that, F2 have done really well taking this ground. They are giving up on meeting, it seems, completely here, opting to just take through security and kitchen, but they've got a minute left to work with and 4 players alive. This is plenty to make this happen, Spud. But Freezy finds another coming down into Freezer and furthers the lead for F2, but he is traded by Ducko finally.
Took some time, but Get a Grip have managed to at least stem the tide that was F2. And without that breach option, they're going to be forced into some one-way fights. Yana Clone almost managed to bait out that player, but unfortunately not quite enough. Magpie, though, does get taken down low health. Another impact grenade will probably end his life. Lugia, however, on the flank while the attention is taken away, and he will find 1 for his trouble, put it back into a 1v2 now. If he can clutch this out, F2 will be in the lead.
Lugia, he spots Ducko. He can't connect onto the shots. Magpie now getting the diffuser down. The Twitch will reposition the pixel angle through the bomb chassis. Magpie has got the plant off. Lugia rotates back round a pillar. He is spotted. Some damage has been dealt, but it's not enough. The swing from Ducko is also there, but doesn't kill the player proning on the floor. And from pillar, proning very similarly himself, the Twitch locks that round out. F2 once more. Double down. They take another round, and as surprising as it is to say, Get a Grip are not in the lead. They are down by 1 here on Oregon defense spot.
Mind you, that was a 4v5 right from the very start
Yeah.
with no hard breacher. I'm honestly pretty impressed with that. That is a good showing. And Get a Grip they weren't doing silly things either. It wasn't like they were giving freebies away. F2 genuinely were able to make really good work of that. They pushed where they needed to, Freezy leading the charge. And then even though they didn't win the gunfights there at the end, they held the crosses sufficiently that Get a Grip weren't able to hold on to that round. So well played by them.
Yeah, overall, F2 pleasantly surprising. You know, they've been putting in work apparently outside of their play days and have actually taken the lead here against Get a Grip. Now, keep in mind, again, it's only 3 rounds in. Get a Grip still warming up to the idea that they're playing Oregon once more. But Ling not having the greatest of games. He's disconnected more times than I think he's actually spawned in, which isn't good for F2, but I guess they don't even really need him right now. You know, they're 2 rounds up and he hasn't arguably done too much.
Yeah, like we said, it's a sacrifice, right? You offer a sacrifice to the Siege Guards and you win rounds. Apparently, Officer Ling has drawn the short straw twice for that, so maybe next time someone else will take the hits. But so far, so good. Still some time to get into that winning position, but it's a good start. Get F2 just need to make sure to keep that consistency, and certainly they'll be looking good.
Overall, River finds the first this time. Freezy is definitely going to be too sleepy this round. He's on cams. Jin also to find one on Magpie. And overall, Curvin will trade it back on the River, but F2, they're down. What could possibly be a 2 versus 4 if Ling's internet does what it's been doing all game and decides to stop working. But Get a Grip are in the lead. As Jin... Oh my days! I don't think Curvin even realised what hit him there. It was like a sledgehammer to a wall, but Darko, he's in such a good position to find one. Ling, the first round he gets to play, he's going to be shot in the back, and unfortunately, he's not going to be able to turn around fast enough. Get a Grip. They find a round, they equalise. And overall, a 2-2. I mean, so far it's been a great start for F2.
Yeah, F2. If F2 can manage more than 3 rounds, then they will have done better than any of their previous matches, which is a good start. Certainly, it's going to be a difficult time for them to be winning, no doubt about it. But so far, they've put up a good fight. They have given Get a Grip a run for their money. I think Get a Grip, as you said, starting to warm up now, figuring out, okay, we actually have to play because, you know, we can't actually give things away for free. In the meanwhile, though, F2 certainly have been picking up momentum, and if they can build that up, I think Get a Grip could actually start to struggle.
Yeah, I think the I don't know, the early couple of rounds for F2 were great, and the middle 2 rounds have been also pretty close. Get a Grip, keep in mind, they got it down to a 1 versus 1. That round was definitely very decisive in favour of Get a Grip, but F2 have been doing some very, very good work so far in this matchup. I mean, the rushes have connected. Everything has sort of been on par from them in terms of what they need to be achieving round-wise, in and out, utility usage, etc. So to see them in a position like this with a possibility of taking some more rounds is great. But Get a Grip, I think they're starting to wake up now, Spud.
Yeah, Jin's certainly looking for those early picks. He isn't quite able to find one, but he's going to stay on that top floor and he's going to prove more trouble. Especially with that visual, if the information gained from F2 hasn't stepped up from what we've seen previously, Jin could really be the thorn in the side of F2 that pulls everything apart. Never mind, it's going to be Owen.
I was going to say it's Owen.
Now, oh my god. Oh, I thought he ran out.
What? He's solo over by Blue as Buck. That's where I would be putting my Ash, maybe. Maybe my Yana, something along the lines of. But Buck to go down, as well as the Ash now. Freezy once more. Hitting the sleep inside of the shower hall as he's taken out by Eye Drift. He has also found his proverbial grip. So, Spud, this could be dangerous.
Now the question is, the information, does it come out for F2, or will I just be able just to hang out in the security hall? Seems, however, F2 are choosing to rotate over for a different approach. They've given up all the ground they just took in favor of something else. Officer Ling will at least find Jin, so he's not going to be able to, annoy them from the flanks. But yeah, still with iDrift on the board up in security, things aren't quite as secure as F2 think it is.
Ling's found the leaderboard after 5 rounds of unfortunate internet issues, which is good. Hopefully he can build that momentum up. But I mean, look, iDrift is in such a good position here. They don't even know he's here. Ling walks in again, shot in the back, looking the wrong way. Didn't flash into security, which may have cost him his life there. But that's also diffuser control. Keep in mind, for Get a Grip now, they have to go and try and retrieve this. They want to have a chance at going for a defuse. Magpie is actively holding towards the single. River is attempting to support. But it's iDrift walking out security. He's getting aggressive. He gets the down onto the first. He's looking for the second on the curve, and he's not going to find it. The headshot connects there with the G3. 30 seconds remain. Diffuser is down. Magpie's on the floor. He's calling the walk up main stairs. Get a Grip. Hopefully they don't feed too hard into this, but I don't think that they're going to be able to find too much. Get a Grip. They're just going to play it out for time.
With Diffuser down, River still up here, and still so much territory you have to take. It's pretty much nigh impossible. Owen looking for a kill. Will he get someone in the back? No, he doesn't. Wait, he does. What?
5 seconds left.
A knife as well. Hey, where's the last player? Corvin. He's going to be forced to walk down the stairs lonely by himself.
Operators, you are out.
It's going to be another round for Get a Grip.
The fact that it came down to a 1 versus 1 there, Spud, is concerning to say the least. But Get a Grip, they enjoy the tomfoolery aspect of the game we know and love. So you can't really blame them too much. They have their fun. They still win the round. They convert it. They've got Diffuser down, but they like to employ some interesting tactics when achieving that goal.
Yes.
Albeit, it was a win. It was a round conversion. They've got the point on the board, and F2 don't. So at the end of the day, they should be theoretically happy about that. We do see Jin setting up towards the second floor of Small Tower here with Nazami on the board. Would indicate that River is going to be the one that would be playing in that position, or should I say. No Wamai there, so it definitely won't be him. But still, Get a Grip have one more round to make a 4-2 half. Probably the best instance they can hope for, given the start that they had with the 2 unfortunate rounds that they did lose. But in saying that, a 3-3 here for F2 going onto the defense as well could be massive for them, because Get a Grip on attack, I mean, unless Jin goes huge, this could be where F2, as we said at the start, could find their first win, or at least look to.
Yeah, 3-3 when you're attacking on Oregon isn't a bad result at all. So F2 are really going to be banking on this. They've shown good promise. They've done it with a 4-5 player disadvantage. So it's workable. Of course, 4-5 again, you don't, I'm not saying you should go ahead and do that. Certainly not a 3-5, and now things are falling apart for F2.
Where did Ling die? How did Ling die? I don't even know where he was peaked from, but it must have been off towards Tower. Or Freezy.
He jumped out Small Tower or something.
Yeah, he must have. He had to have jumped out Small Tower. I don't even know where Ling would have been found. Freezy, he's doing what he does best. He's off by himself with no drone information ahead of him, looking to try and make it into the site. He is going to find one. He takes out River. He does make it into Kitchen. But now again, with no reinforcement, he's holding on to a decent portion of the site. He now has to walk in from the security side as well, but Drift is there. He takes him out. Magpie tries to walk into the side as well. Lugia finds Jin, but Magpie goes down. It's a 1 versus 3. It did come down to the 1v1 in the last attempt, but given that there's a player upstairs inside of the kids' dorms with him, Owen, with his shotgun, is going to be able to... I don't even blame him at this point. Owen was literally standing still in the room, and Lugia walked in and didn't even see him. So, yeah, look. I don't know how it happened, but Get a Grip won it, and unfortunately F2 didn't. So, saying that, Freezy, good job on leading the charge, I suppose, but the control was worth nothing in the end.
Yeah, look, they've certainly been able to position their players in a good spot at certain times. I mean, Freezy managed to get into the site, and he was able to get a pick for it. I just just don't know where everyone else is. Again, the coordination is where things are falling apart. They have some good ideas, but when they come down to the execute, they're not able to bring all the moving parts together in a sufficient amount of time to make it work. It could have worked out really well had they been able to hold onto that security rotate, had they been able to actually put players onto that site. Very well could have been a 3-3 half. Unfortunately for them, they fall just short, and they're going to be looking at a 2-4 disadvantage here as they go onto their defense.
Keep in mind, defense on this map is a 50-50 really split. So I think it's like 51% defender, 49 attacker or something like that. But Get a Grip, with the proficiency that they hold, the difference being they've got the experience over F2 here, you would assume that this is going to be a very different attacking half. Now, Jin on the Amaru is an interesting pick, blinding the player inside of the armory upstairs. Now, they have the pings as well. They know that where this player is. Jin below trying to shoot through the floor to take them out, but it doesn't matter. Ducko's there with the AR. He takes out Magpie, and that was probably one of the most proficient armory clears I have seen in a long time, Spud, given that armory is usually pretty hard to clear out. So I don't know what Magpie was expecting to achieve there. He didn't even have his magnets up at that point, but either or, Get a Grip, they're going to walk away with a kill, and a pretty big one at that.
Yeah, really strong position, starts to open up the master bedroom, and that's indeed what we see. The Hibana charge is going down now, opening up this closet wall. Curvin looks to even things out by playing close, but River able to find another kill. Corvin at least will be able to find one, and with the diffuser down, he might be able to make something work. So far, there's a lot of pressure on the site, and they still need to get themselves some breathing room, especially with the smoke grenades being used early. There's plenty of time to Get a Grip to execute.
And River on this cross here has a great lockdown onto the possible two players that are in front of him. We'll make it just one now as one does rotate away. He spots Curvin, and that's going to be a free kill for him. He knows that the breach is open. Why he chooses to swing out like that, an interesting choice. Jin, an absolute laser beam with that G8, and River's good for the final one. I think this is where F2 start to well, proverbially drop the bag, Spud, given that they had such a great start. It usually is how we see it go down for them. Unfortunately, they have a couple of rounds where they shine. I mean, you said it yourself, you know, they have their moment where here and there they are a very proficient team, but that lack of coordination, that lack of play time together does really hurt them in the end. Get a Grip, 5-2. This could be easily a 7-2 if they want to make it that.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as
Yeah,
they can.
consistency seems to be the thing that F2 is missing. And unfortunately, at this sort of level of play, you do need to be consistent. Get a Grip as well have had their struggles with that consistency. They did show some promise early on in this tournament, but then seem to have fallen off a little bit as well. But when it comes to head-to-head, unfortunately, Get a Grip are just that little bit better. As we've mentioned, that time they spent together playing has certainly helped. So F2 now definitely struggling. They are 3 rounds behind. They were at one point leading, and I think that is something... I'm not sure if that's something we see a lot, but certainly it is something. But 3 rounds in a row, I think. How many rounds was that in a row? 4 rounds, I believe, in a row have gone to Get a Grip.
Yeah, look, F2 have had moments, but I definitely don't think they have been leading a game at all. You know, maybe by 1 round, the first round or something similar, but other than that, they have genuinely not been in a more than 4 deep with a lead from the top of my head. Now, Jin is just hunting right now. He is going to spot the first. Unfortunately, doesn't re-peek and find the kill on the free peek. Now, again, as he rotates away, just no support, no information, not even looking where he's going. He's not paying attention at all, and he's going to pay the ultimate price. Owen there, that is a great pinch out from Get a Grip. And, I mean, that is arguably the easiest kill I think I've seen them find in this game so far.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Now, Lugia now stuck by himself upstairs. It would be wise, perhaps, to fall back, but he's going to hold on to his position. And it's only going to be a matter of time before he gets hit, but I think they've actually already gone down. Oh, no.
What? Does he not hear the player throw his drone and jump on, like, next to him? I don't understand. Ling finds one with the SMG. Unfortunately, runs out of ammo when looking for the second. Oh, and doesn't connect with the shotgun. And he's taken down. iDrift will find Magpie, though. Ling gets another one. His internet is not causing an issue for him this round. Drift is going to be forced off the plant here. Ling inside of elbow. His first play for this game could ultimately be the one that decides if F2 find another round. The bomb now going down. Drift once more jumping off it. Opting to face check these angles as Officer tries to return back to the site. Diffuser being stuck now by iDrift. It's going to put us in a post plant. iDrift on low HP. 2 flashbangs to work with. Ling does have a smoke in pocket. But it's going to be the Hibana playing for the long angle here. He possibly has the hatch open. Curvin's typed rip. I think Ling's disconnecting, which is going to be the most unfortunate thing to see here for F2 if that's the case, given he's had such a good moment here in this round. But he does jump on the defuse. Where's iDrift? He's off. He's in Narnia. He's coming down the back stairs, and Ling has possibly disconnected. I don't know what has happened there.
Oh,
the defuse
no.
clearly came out, but that iDrift definitely entered there. He's not lying when he says that, but I don't know what that is. That's definitely a disconnect. Well, it was, yeah, he disconnected, so he technically didn't defuse it because his character model stayed in the lobby for, you know, X amount of extra time. But in saying that, Spud, that theoretically could have been an F2 round. That is such a shame as well, because Ling just fired up in that round. Those kills he found were insane. That was a highlight clip, you know, that was genuinely a great attempt from him. But yeah, there you go. He was at 0.1 and he disconnected, so it looked like he was still on it, but he wasn't. Get a grip, theoretically win the round. Okay. Yeah, look, that is a big shame for F2. That's got to hurt Spud as well. Like, DCing like that, that's got to hurt.
I mean, you could argue that iDrift should have won that, given all he had to do was just wait for it to hear the sound cue. He did throw, though, and he really should be punished for that.
Should have been punished.
Should have been. So I'm just going to chalk it up. I'm going to write a 3-7 with an asterisk there, because I think F2 deserved that round. But
that is arguably the most deserved round I think we've seen that F2 have put on the table in a long time. You know, F2, they speak about it. They did good, but overall, it doesn't matter. You know, get a grip, they win it. They're on match point, and they now look to close the game out. They're one away from making it happen, Spud, and hopefully they've learned their lesson. But if that's what F2 are bringing,
10 seconds left.
it could be on for at least a couple more before the conclusion of this matchup.
yeah, hopefully they can find at least one more to match their previous records, and that means they haven't gone backwards. At least they've managed to stay the same. And they've certainly been fighting hard for it. Again, as we mentioned, a really nice clutch out from Officer Ling there on the smoke. And yeah, some good plays from Corvin as well. He is going 7-6, as we have mentioned. He is one of the players who finds a lot of kills for F2, but unfortunately, he will go down once again.
What does he say?
This is unfortunate. This is unfortunate.
ON. ON. That's a dime in chat there. Oh well, Curvin goes down. He was our highlight player of the week, but Lugia takes down Jin. So at least they've traded 1 for 1. Lugia almost losing his life on the way out. But overall, they do still hold a good advantage, especially with Freezy finding a kill like that. Takes out Ducko. Again, no support. He's got lucky on this instance, but a refrag, I'd imagine, is very close by here for Get a Grip.
Freezy is stuck all by himself in Small Tower, and of course that cutoff will be in place. So he's going to have a difficult time making it back to site. Owen at least does take out... Sorry, Magpie does at least take out Owen for his troubles, and Things are looking
no.
a lot better for for F2. They are in a 2-4 advantage, but I wouldn't chalk it up just yet. River still in play, iDrift as well, both leading the charge in terms of numbers, so could still make it work.
This one is shaping up to be interesting. Lugia takes out River. iDrift now the last alive in a 1 versus 4. He's looking for some traction. Some damage even. Hits the hamstring stretch inside the main lobby. He has Diffuser. He does have some good utility as well. 3 flashbangs and plenty of Abana pellets to make something happen. But he's 10-4 right now. He's hunting for some more. Freezy will be heard and spotted, unfortunately not taken out. I mean, Spud, there's a minute left in play. Freezy just hits the deck again. It seems to be where he's the most comfortable. But I mean, he's not going to win the fight. I don't know how he loses that. Actually, I do. It's iDrift. But look, other than that, this is an F2 round.
I think he's doing his best Owen impression. As I say, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. iDrift now looking for those kills, but unfortunately the smoke is going to hamper him. He is on such low health, he doesn't have that option, and with 20 seconds, he's going to have to book it down those main stairs, drop this hatch. I don't really think it's going to be a win. You can hope, one can hope, but at least F2 get around for their troubles. 3 and 6, certainly still close to losing, but not as dire a situation.
The more rounds, the merrier. You know, the more that they can find, obviously, the closer it gets. Keep in mind, 3 rounds is really all that is the difference between overtime and, well, losing. So for F2, 3 rounds, they did it with Kraken. They've done it here against Get a Grip. Can they do any more than 3? Could have been 4, but we don't speak about it. Get a Grip once more. Again, only 1 away from ending it right here. Jin pretty adamant on this Amaru pick. Now, Spud, is this something that you rate in this lineup? He's had some good success with the G8. He's obviously a laser beam with it. Great gun. But in terms of utility, they could be bringing so much more. Do you rate the Amaru pick here for Get a Grip? Do you think it's more just a comfort thing, given that they're going up, you know, against a team like F2, maybe a little bit for the memes, or do you think that this is genuinely a part of the strat?
Yeah, I still haven't quite decided on it. I can see the value in bringing it and getting into that second floor early and flushing out the roamers, but I've also seen a lot of other operators and a lot of other players from Get a Grip be able to do that. Like Owen on the Buck, that you've got Ducko on the Sophia River as well, being able to clear out from the top. So I'm not sure if it's necessary. Certainly there's value, but I wouldn't say it's a must pick for their strategy.
Look, it's been working. You can't really blame him too much. Armory not a point of contention this time for F2, so for Get a Grip, it's going to be a freebie when they choose to take it. Another disconnect, unfortunately, but it happens. F2, 4 versus 5. Get a Grip. They have the advantage now as they make their way into Armory in the top of main stairs, looking to clear out Trophy here. There is someone inside Attic that will be there to face them directly. Lugia. He does take a little bit of damage. Unfortunately, doesn't find the kill, but I guess it is as good as a deterrent as any so far.
Armory control now starting to work on this wall, and this is usually where they push. Last time it was completely from the closet and of course Jin from this attic area, so it seems to be a repeat of this push. Whether Lugia can hold on to Pit will be the big difference maker, but he's being pinched from across as well. He can't get eyes onto Attic and won't be able to get eyes onto anyone now. Down to 3 versus 5.
Looking for a flawless to close it out right now. Very achievable feat for Get a Grip. Jin has good control inside of Attic, doesn't spot anyone at the back of Kids, so he knows that he can look to push in and take this control for himself. Now with the drone confirming that as well. He's going to drop on down into Attic. Looks to take the play towards White. The player close by as well, Magpie. Don't know how he was alive for so long, but he is unfortunately then taken out. Freezy finds one as well. 2 kills go in favor of F2, but Jin's so deep inside of the site that he could arguably cause the most damage here. Ducko now on the plant. Call has been made. The player is back towards the bunk side. Curvin could go huge here. It's actually Freezy to connect onto a nice shot. He takes out River, but the diffuser is down. Jin takes out Freezy. It's now all up to Curvin in a 1 versus 2. The last hope for F2. Can he make it happen? He was our most rated player for this week. In a 1 versus 2, he could do it, but with hip fires like that, it's not looking promising. Oh no, it's all going on. Jin locks it out. There was no question, let's be honest. Get a grip, they take it in a great fashion. 7-2. Jin Sharp as always closing that. Sorry, 7-3. Jin Sharp as always locking that one out. And look, Spud, I don't think we expected anything different.
Look, some good attempts there by F2, and there were rounds where it was a lot closer than it would seem. So not too bad there from F2, but unfortunately it is what it is. They will lose 3-7 there, and yeah, well played from Get a Grip, though. They did need that win to kind of end out the season after a bit of, some unfortunate series of events over this season. So, it's something for Get a Grip. Certainly not going to be making the playoffs at this rate, but at least it's a win.
Yeah, look, I mean, Spud, throughout that match, we saw some great moments for both of these teams. I mean, in the opening moments, it was very close between both the teams. And then sort of, I think Get a Grip decided that they were going to sort of switch some things up a little bit, play a little bit more aggressive. But overall, F2, I mean, they did have some very, very big moments in that game. I mean, the almost clutch, etc., from them was just absolutely amazing. So for F2 to do as much work as they did, I don't think it was indicative of the performance we saw from them. But overall, obviously, Get a Grip, they were the favourites. They walk away with it without any other real questions. And other than that, it was a good game to watch. You do have to give them that.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that both these teams haven't been able to perform as well throughout the rest of the season. I mean, again, both teams have, as we saw in this map, were able to play really well. It's just sometimes things just don't work out your way. And it's unfortunate because we would have loved to have seen these teams a little bit more get a bit higher numbers in this season.
Now we are going to get to chat with the captain from Get a Grip, the aforementioned Owen, one of the members of the Church of the M590. He is here, ladies and gentlemen. Owen joins us in the booth. First of all, congratulations, as always, Oregon, proving to be one of your favourite maps. So we do have to see you in and out.
But overall, Oregon.
You play Oregon. Yeah, you love a little bit of Oregon. You do, especially. But 3 rounds, you guys dropped to F2 there. Break it down for us. What went wrong?
Oh, look, we haven't dry run since start of CL, so we're like, yeah, let's just dry run for this game. We treat it like a dry run and just forgot where to open the hatches and rotates. Yeah. Oh, and after the 3rd round, to make it fair, I just started playing on my phone to play it because new chapter of Arknights is out. So yeah,
I see.
Oh, it's fun.
What about thoughts on the season as a whole? Obviously, it hasn't been the best, but what are your thoughts? And where are you guys going moving forward?
Honestly, throughout the season, we've just kind of been trialing people and letting our sub Ducko get a chance at the spotlight. So yeah, it's been a good bit of fun.
Yeah, you guys have been enabling him really well week in and week out. And I guess just before you head off, Owen, is there anyone you want to shout out, say thank you to for tonight? I mean, good game. You guys walk away with a victory. So anything you want to say just before you head off?
Duck told him to shout out Lugia. He said thank you for the $50. And yeah, unfortunate with Ling, the net sucked. That's bad luck, man.
Yeah, it happens. Well, Owen, thank you very much for joining us. And once more, congratulations to yourself. Pass it on to the boys. And hopefully we see you guys next week. But Spud, I mean, that was a good game. That was a great game. And ultimately, Owen and the rest of the boys did absolute bits in that matchup. But that wraps up game number 2. We head to game number 3 when we come back from a very short ad break. So don't go anywhere. We will return momentarily.
Kia ora whanau, that guy's Energy here, and I am here at the Sky Tower in Tahamaki Makaurau to check out the new Sky Slide, which is just opened. Let's go check it out. This is their brand new virtual reality experience based up on their main observation deck. It's a crazy ride, offering 360-degree views of Auckland at up to 100 kilometers per hour. The motion platform imitates the 3D rendered open-air slides, twists and turns above the skies of Tahamaki Makaurau. Counting down. Punch it. Let me at him. Hey! Free air. Whoa! Whoever's done the render for this has done like an incredible job. Whoa! It's also really comfortable, like the motion platform's super nice. It's actually really selling all of these like different twists and turns. Another free fall, whoa! Whoa! We're heading home, boys, we're heading home. Whew. So it's $40 for the experience, which includes viewing platform access, or it's just $15 on top of your tower ticket, and it's for ages 8 and up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from the break. We are back 2 games into the night, a 7-5 to UG and a 7-3 to Get a Grip Spud. We've kicked the night off with 2 absolute heaters, but we head into game number 3, arguably the biggest banger of the evening, Kraken versus Surf Esports. This is going to be probably the best match of the night.
Yeah, I mean, just in terms of the skill available for both these teams, it is really, really high. And mind you, of course, as we talked about in terms of the leaderboard, Underground, with their win earlier today, does put them firmly in that position for 4th place. Surf Esports, however, if they lose, they will lose that position to Underground. But Kraken aren't too far ahead of Surf Esports as well. So again, both these teams looking a bit in a shaky position. And one of them, I think, could potentially lose a spot to Surf.
Kraken Esports, a team that has had a lot of experience throughout the moments of siege that they have played, are going to have some subs in tonight, notably Vincier, Dalton, Wildcard, and Helix. Helix, obviously, one of the main subs for the roster, actually played for a bit. But Vincier, I mean, it was one of the memes in OCE for a while that Vincier.kra was going to be a thing. He's here on Kraken tonight. Obviously, he's filling in for the boys. But Jeff, Pluto, NZ Frankie, I mean, this roster with Vincier in it this evening, this is probably going to be one of the scariest iterations of Kraken that we've seen in LPL Pro so far this season, Spite.
Yeah, you may say it's a sub, but I think it is a super sub. They seem to have upgraded, and Vincier has been doing so much damage in other leagues as well. He's going to be doing so much damage tonight as well. But of course, that all depends on who they're playing up against.
Surf Esports, a roster that has had an absolutely insane season of their own. Scars, Jakenna, Physics, Lunchbox, and Jakenna again, apparently. So he's playing on 2 PCs tonight.
He's that good.
He's that good that he can play one-handed on 2 controllers. But Physics there in the middle, leading the charge. I mean, he has been single-handedly one of the biggest deciding factors. But on top of that, obviously the elephant in the room, you have to note it, Lunchbox. Week in, week out, this guy drops dimes on streams. He plays for the highlight reel, and he definitely does a good job in doing so. But Spud, Surf Esports, I think a team that can do it. Hopefully, maybe find some good rounds. But there you go. Goof. What happened to Jakenna? Jakenna 2.0 is gone. Goof is here. He's back. But yeah, Spud, this team is the one that I think can do some damage to Kraken. With Vince here in the roster, maybe not a dub, but my hopes are there. It is a possibility that can be achieved, especially if Lunchbox backs out. So I guess we will see it moments into this matchup of the head-to-head, once more brought to us by Biocode Lab for the final time tonight. Vince here, no surprise that we picked him and a Lunchbox again. No surprise. Both these players absolutely insane, Spud.
Yeah, I think these players are going to be the ones dropping the big numbers, the double digits in terms of kills tonight. Vinci, he needs no introduction. Any fan of OCER6 will know who he is. Lunchbox as well has been making a bit of a name for himself, and as we mentioned a couple of times earlier, in that F2 match, he was just going bananas. So definitely looking forward to seeing these 2 players duke it out. Also, I think this is a really interesting matchup because these teams have played against each other in other leagues where they were both number 1 and 2 in that league, with Kraken eventually winning out. So maybe a little bit delayed, but Surf Esports get a chance for their revenge.
Yeah, they're very different rosters, obviously, back in the day, the OG Kraken of such. With, as I said, with Vinny in the mix tonight is going to make things a whole lot more interesting. But for Surf, this is going to be a pretty deciding factor for how things go for the rest of the season. As you said, if they lose, UG take that 4th place spot. But where is the question? Are we going to be taking this battle to Spud? We've had a repeat offender here this evening, Oregon. We spoke about it at the beginning of the evening, one of Kraken's best maps. And here we are yet again. The decision came down once more for Surf to go to Club or Oregon, and they opted to choose the latter. Oregon, one of Kraken's best maps, was let through again by the other team. So we saw it go wrong for F2. The question is it going to be the same for Surf?
I mean, there's certainly no shortage of material for these teams to study in terms of the games that have been played. And in favor of Surf Esports, if you think about it, Kraken have shown their hand on this map many, many times. And they've shown that there's a weakness. Underground, of course, notably took them down 8 and 7. So it is doable. And Surf Esports certainly will have been studying that up and thinking of counter strategies, ways to defeat Kraken. And I think that's all part of the plan. They are happy to let that go through because they want Kraken to play on that map.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was one of Kraken's most played maps at the start of LPL Pro. They had all their victories. They had the 1 loss to UG, which was max overtime, 15 rounds, full competitive. So Kraken do have a lot of material to go through and sort of analyze in terms of strategy and how they do play it, in terms of what is sort of available as well, round to round, what operators they bring. So Surf, probably in their right sort of choices, have picked arguably the better map of the 2 to go to, given that that is the one that they will, in theory, should have more information on. Now that they've obviously been introduced to Surf, we'd assume there are a little bit more support staff behind the scenes helping them sort of organize things here and there. So this could genuinely be a Surf victory. And if not, definitely an overtime game. It has the merit to be an overtime game. But with Vinny in the mix, I keep going back to Vinny, but he is literally a player that is a single-handed a team. He is a 5-man in his own pocket, and he has proven it time and time again. So, if they can shut Vinny down, doable. But if Vinny's allowed to run rampant on Ash and things like such, look, this could be another quick one, Spud.
Yeah, maybe they need to think about taking the finger away from Vinny. Of course, the LMG has been nerfed. It's not quite the same, but still could be doing so much damage with that. So definitely a player to keep an eye out on. But yeah, as you mentioned, both these teams are really, really great lineups. Certainly both teams with experience, the synergy coming together. So I don't think we're going to be running into the same coordination problems we saw in our previous match. That means it's going to be very sharp, very focused, with really, really good head-to-head gunfights here as both these teams duke it out for their place in the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, experience, mechanics overall, the level from these two teams displayed is going to be a whole lot different. This is going to be a very different game to the one that we just saw between F2 and Get a Grip there. Well, as you sort of said, you know, it is literally just going to be mechanics checks, the wands fights, just even the site setups as well. I mean, Kraken are a team that has had that tier 1 experience, and obviously the players they bring. Vincier, again, notably, I know we keep going back to Vincier, but the man is insane. I mean, it speaks for itself. It's in the name. But Surf, you know, the roster of young up-and-comers, the gunners of the scene at the moment, they locked out first in their respective Tier 2 tournament, season just gone. They're looking to do it here, or at least do some damage here, get into playoffs, and then gun for the top spot. They've got players like Koof, like Lunchbox, who week in, week out drop big numbers against big teams. And if they can do that here again against Kraken tonight with a roster that has Vincier in it, look, they could definitely be the team that goes for first. But given that Kraken have looked very strong, you know, they're currently sitting comfortably at the top end of the leaderboard, so they're going to have their work cut out for them pretty extensively at their top end map. But once more, we are having some issues, unfortunately, getting people into the lobby. So we are just going to head to a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with map number 3 very shortly.
That guy's NJ here, and I am here at the Sky Tower in Taimaki Makaurau to check out the new Sky Slide, which is just opened. Let's go check it out. This is their brand new virtual reality experience based up on their main observation deck. It's a crazy ride, offering 360-degree views of Auckland at up to 100 kilometers per hour. The motion platform imitates the 3D rendered open-air slides, twists and turns above the skies of Taimaki Makaurau. Counting down. Punch it. Let me at him. Hey! Free air. Whoa! Whoever's done the render for this has done like an incredible job. Whoa! It's also really comfortable, like the motion platform's super nice. It's actually really selling all of these like different twists and turns. Another free fall, whoa! Whoa! We're heading home, boys, we're heading home. Whew. So it's $40 for the experience, which includes viewing platform access, or it's just $15 on top of your tower ticket. And it's for ages 8 and up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back from the break and we're going to head once more straight into Oregon. Spud, Kraken versus Surf Esports. Now we talked a little bit about it just before we headed to the break, but now we finally get to dive on into the action. We just watched an Oregon unfold. Now, don't get me wrong, it was great, but this is going to be absolutely amazing. The bands, well, what are we expecting? Obviously, probably the Valkyrie, maybe the Mirror if we're lucky, but I mean, what else, Spud, if you had to guess 4?
Okay. Last 2 games we've seen Kraken play Oregon, they actually went ahead and banned Grim. I don't think they're going to do it this time, I'll be honest, because of the stakes here. So probably not a second or third time, but they could do it. I wouldn't entirely put it past them. They've taken out Alibi before, they've taken out Mirror on the defense. They've taken out a Capcan even. So really it's anyone's guess as to what they're going to do at this point. They've taken out a Mozzie before on defense. So hey, I have no chips on any ban because it could be anything.
It genuinely could be anything at this point. If Kraken want to get rid of Grim, then, you know, they probably will. But at the same time, I guess Twitch is going to be what they opt for this time. Now, Chef is not at his home setup. He is out and about currently. So we'll see if that affects gameplay right now. But cracking a cold one, if you will, indeed. Overall, Osa goes as well for Oregon, which I do rate. But that leaves Thatcher up, that leaves Knock up. 2 pretty big operators at the moment, Spud.
I do like this kind of more unconventional bans going out. We're tired of saying the same things, and this does hamper some strategies as well. I do think that Twitch is a bit of a target ban at Chikena. So, hang on, no, was that? Yeah, that was Kraken's ban. So maybe that is the plan.
Well, given that there are 2 Chikenas playing tonight, or there was, you've got it's a twice as an effective ban. But look, at the moment, the bans will stand. Mozzie goes, and I do rate the Mozzie. That is very much a target ban. That's a Chikena / Lunchbox target ban. I mean, a pretty effective one as well, but overall, the bans are going to stand given that they have been completed. Now, first round of Oregon, we do see that Kidstorm is where they are looking to go for the time being. But Spud, look, we saw the bans. Twitch goes out. Obviously, these are target bans. Twitch and Mozzie, both of those are very targeted towards 1/2 players on the side of Surf Esports, and that is Chikena and Lunchbox. So the 2 biggest players, aside from Goofed as well, who, you know, give him Alibi along the lines and he'll just sort of go crazy, those are 2 great bans. So overall, I think Kraken are playing this one quite smart, but in terms of getting rid of utility, they haven't really done too much. I mean, yes, Mozzie is good to get rid of general, you know, deny the drones, etc. But I mean, Twitch on Oregon with Thatcher up, yeah, it's a target ban. So utility over quantity, you know, it's there, but you saw the pings as we loaded in, so we are going to head to a break, sort that out, and then we will be right back momentarily.
Whano, that guy's NJ here, and I am here at the Sky Tower in Taimaki Makoto to check out the new Sky Slide, which is just opened. Let's go check it out. This is their brand new virtual reality experience based up on their main observation deck. It's a crazy ride, offering 360-degree views of Auckland at up to 100 kilometers per hour. The motion platform imitates the 3D rendered open-air slides, twists and turns above the skies of Taimaki Makoto. Counting down. Punch it. Let me at him. Hey! Free air. Whoa! Whoever's done the render for this has done like an incredible job. Whoa! It's also really comfortable. Like the motion platform's super nice. It's actually really selling all of these like different twists and turns. Another free fall. Whoa! Whoa! We're heading home, boys. We're heading home. Whew. So it's $40 for the experience, which includes viewing platform access, or it's just $15 on top of your tower ticket, and it's for ages 8 and up.
Tracking target at full velocity. Predicting trajectory. Wunderbar!
Did I mention it comes wrist-mounted?
No. I don't like to use the word hero. But I did save the boss's life, you know. Hey, Osa! Wait up!
I already said I won't take any selfies with you.
I know. But I was thinking, high-tech is seriously trending right now. So I was kind of hoping I could borrow one of your toys for a little photo shoot.
Some of these toys come with a $50 million price tag.
Well, then why did these tourists get to play?
Because if they break it, Rainbow buys it. Besides, Callie wants them to feel at home.
Right, Callie, the big plan. What's the big plan again?
Lips are sealed, hero.
Come on. I helped build this place. Don't you think I should be in the know?
I think you should be focused on winning the Invitational, not showing off to our senior physicist.
Thought she was a biologist. You all look the same to me.
What? Women?
Nerds.
You know what, Ace? I think I will help you with that photo shoot.
Ah, really? Awesome.
Of course. Could you just stand a little to the left?
Like this?
Perfect. Say nerd. Keep bugging my staff and this goes viral.
Oh, no, come on. Please don't tell Callie.
Showtime.
Kia ora whānau, that guy's NJ here, and I am here at the Sky Tower in Taimaki Makoto to check out the new Sky Slide, which is just opened. Let's go check it out. This is their brand new virtual reality experience based up on their main observation deck. It's a crazy ride, offering 360-degree views of Auckland at up to 100 kilometers per hour. The motion platform imitates the 3D rendered open air slides, twists and turns above the skies of Tamaki Makaurau. Counting down, punch it, let me at him. Hey! Free air, whoa! Whoever's done the render for this has done like an incredible job. Whoa! It's also really comfortable, like the motion platform's super nice. It's actually really selling all of these like different twists and turns. Another free fall, whoa! Whoa! We're heading home, boys, we're heading home. Whew. So it's $40 for the experience, which includes viewing platform access, or it's just $15 on top of your tower ticket, and it's for ages 8 and up.
Get ready for the final round.
Match in overtime.
Demeritize the game. Are you a betting man, Harry?
Do you assume I favor one side over the other? You know me better than that, Sam. Besides, I left my wallet at home.
Attackers, prepare for insertion. Team mirror to the map. Team Ash has breached the map.
Doka, now.
Roger. Let's go fishing.
Good to go, Jordan.
Copy that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're here and getting right back into Oregon, hopefully where we left off. Spud, the bands were locked in. We saw a Twitch and a Mozzie on the pick deliberately to try and lock down the roamers, aforementioned Lunchbox and Jakenna. So hopefully it will come out round number one. We saw locked into kids' dorms. We see a dock. We see a lot of interesting things, actually. Thorn and Capcan here on the side of Kraken, who do get to start on the defense. Spud, I mean, Kraken on the defense on their best map, Surf, you got to hope you can go huge on this attacking half.
Yeah, hopefully they haven't bitten off more than they can chew, because this is certainly going to be a tough one. No doubt, though, Surf Esports coming off the back of a really good victory last week. They're going to be chuffed about that, and they certainly have the confidence and the ability to take this fight to Kraken. If there's any team that can do it, it will be Surf Esports. Starting things off now, though, on the second floor, as we mentioned, one of the primary sites. And yeah, Doc and a Rook in play. Kraken looking to spice things up right from the get-go.
Yeah, indeed. The trap-op picks are definitely interesting, but ones that'll probably work, to be honest. Overall, Spud, with the pairing of obviously Doc and Rook as well, you know, they've got those long-range, high-capacity magazines like on the P90. So this is an interesting lineup from Kraken. Surf, they're going to have to be careful at how they choose to go about this.
Yeah, especially with the health advantage that they're going to be able to bring. It's going to mean the roamers are able to get back onto site after doing their damage, and that's going to hurt Kraken when it comes to the roam clear. So they need to make sure they cut off those roamers before they successfully make it back. Otherwise, they for certain will be healed up to full health. You're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Physics pushing down Shower Hall. Lunchbox there as well here on the support. Now the Rook has disappeared. NZ went back up the top of White and has walked away, but it is going to be the opening Kraken member to find one. However, Jakenna finds two for a trade back. And there you go, Kraken lose two. However, Chef is there to at least find one for himself. And Helix with the new Doc buff, straight up to 200 health.
It's for Hunter indeed. You remember the sausage we saw earlier today. Yeah. Bringing a second one out, I was just a little bit concerned that he kind of left his teammate out the dry, who was meant to be holding trophy. But yeah, Vinny now the last one left alive, even after Surf lose a player to a DC. However, he's able to make things work, and will this be the story once again? Even on 4 players, they can still win this out.
It's Lunchbox in a 1v1 here against Vincia. No impacts to play with. He's going to go deep. He's going to spot Lunchbox there, but the suppressor stopping him from finding that kill, leaving him on health. Vincia must have shot like 6 drones as he's pushed back into the site. There's so much information from Surf. Vinny can't quite hit the head here as he's dancing around the kids' dorm's door. Lunchbox is in a good position, but unfortunately Vincia is in slightly better of one. And Kraken, off the back of the super sub, are going to go for the first round in their hands. And overall, that was very close, Spud. This is going to be an absolutely insane game.
Yeah, mind you, that was a 4v5, and it still came down to a 1v1. So, if that is anything to go by, again, very, very close game. Surf Esports might even have the advantage there. Jakenna doing some big work opening the site up. He did manage to get 2 kills and then unfortunately refragged by the internet. So, still only a single round lead is what Kraken has. I wouldn't get too hasty about that. I certainly think Surf Esports is still in the round.
Yeah, look, Surf, they were very, very close. Very, very close. And that could have quite easily been a Surf round. You know, Lunchbox was there. Very well and much so alive. Planting in the doorway, probably not the safest of choices, but he was playing for the engagement. Vincia, just that little bit more sort of game knowledge instance in those types of situations, was able to maneuver himself into a largely better position and overall took him down. So Vincia already proving his worth, I believe 3 in the round, if I'm not so wrong. But overall, everything went very well for Surf in that round. They got into the site, they started finding those kills. Vincia was ultimately the deciding factor for Kraken, but on top of that, the defense was largely somewhat haphazard. You know, there was people running around, they had a Doc, they had a Rook, they had a lot more sort of interesting picks coming out, the Capcan as well. But Spud, you saw it unfold there. Desync is an issue, so we are going to head to another short break, and hopefully we will be back in a moment's notice.
Stefano, that guy's NJ here, and I am here at the Sky Tower in Taimaki Makaurau to check out the new Sky Slide, which is just opened. Let's go check it out. This is their brand new virtual reality experience based up on their main observation deck. It's a crazy ride, offering 360-degree views of Auckland at up to 100 kilometers per hour. The motion platform imitates the 3D rendered open-air slides, twists and turns above the skies of Taimaki Makaurau. Counting down. Punch it. Let me at him. Hey! Free air. Whoa! Whoever's done the render for this has done like an incredible job. Whoa! It's also really comfortable, like the motion platform's super nice. It's actually really selling all of these like different twists and turns. Another free fall, whoa! Whoa! We're heading home, boys, we're heading home. Whew. So it's $40 for the experience, which includes viewing platform access, or it's just $15 on top of your tower ticket, and it's for ages 8 and up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after our break, and how things panned out in round number 1, just in case you missed it. Vince here clutched up huge, the super sub already putting in his time on the clock. 3 kills and a 1 versus 2 to clutch out the round for Kraken. So that's why they find themselves on 1 as opposed to Surf Esports' 0. But at the end of the day, Spud, it is still only the first round that has surpassed. We haven't seen too much else in this game. But hopefully, continuing forwards, we get to see the whole rest of it unfold. Kraken hold the lead. The question is for how long? Surf did hold the advantage going into that. As we said, you know, Vince Deer was just the deciding factor at the end of it. So can Kraken continue that? Or is Surf going to come back from the depths and make something happen? Big questions that are going to require answers that we will hopefully be given, well, soon.
Yeah, both teams have the tools to make this work in their favor. The mirror windows coming up, especially without the Twitch, will be a bit of a trouble. But it will be Pluto taking off Scars. Our hero from last week in a 1v3 clutch will not see this round. He's going to have to wait another round to get back into the action.
Look, a spawn kill is great to find, especially when it's the Habana as well. Now, remember last time that Scars was dead at the beginning of a round, Spud, they won the round. They converted them. So on Oregon, if history is to repeat itself here, Surf are good for this round. Then following that, dependent on Scars' alive status. But a kill like that is always great to find. The hard breacher down early in the round. I mean, Scars is an insane gunner on top of that too. So for Surf to take that loss, that's going to hurt them a lot. But Lunchbox, he's looking to at least find a kill to take back 1 for his team.
Oh my goodness, Chef Jeff with the boomstick makes boom. Lunchbox taken out of play there. He took a lot of ground fairly early on, but no backup means they are back to square 1. Lunchbox looking for a second, but Jekena looking for a refrag, but won't be able to quite find it. 2 players down already for Surf.
And we do hear those new dock stim coming into effect here. Unfortunately, they're not going to help him out too much as Jekena finds 2 at the bottom of Freezer for Surf. A lot of his HP has been forfeited, and Jeff obviously not too happy about it. But regardless of that fact, those are 2 big kills for the Ash to find and ultimately put Surf back in a position of some form of clutching in this round, a 3 versus 3.
Yeah, remember, no hard breacher here, so they're forced to go down directly through this freezer site. But it's working out so far for them. I say that, but Pluto is able to find the second of this round, and that at least stumps the freezer push a little bit. And with Lunchbox on so low health, this freezer side could fall quickly.
One spotted on the backstairs there by Pluto. So the information given to the rest of his team. Surf now needing to try and make something happen in terms of a collapse. However, unfortunately, Vincia takes down Jakenna. So he's not going to be finding any more kills in this round. It's all up to Physics on the Flores. He's got Vinny on the floor. He will be returned back to the fray. And it will be Vincia to trade with him with the Magnum on the backstairs. Odds from Jeff. And I don't really blame him. That was a shot to hit. But Kraken, again, they lock down another round. And Spud 2-0 up. They are sitting pretty on Oregon defense.
And despite that, every time Surf Esports have been at a disadvantage, they've still been able to bring it back fairly close. First round, of course, we saw that disconnect. Second round, Scars taken out an early spawn pick, but they brought it back to a 3v3. It was a 2v3. It's still very, very close. Unfortunately, the setup from Kraken is just a little bit too difficult to crack, and Surf Esports do fall short once again, but only just.
Yeah, and given that they've been so close multiple times, you know, this is, as I said, quite easily probably going to be the closest game we've had this evening. I know the score isn't largely reflective of that fact at the moment, but give it a couple rounds. Let Surf warm up to the fact that they are going up against one of the better teams in Tier 2 in our region. Tier 1 even, sorry, should I say. You know, this is going to be a match that can / most likely will go the distance.
Pluto has gone 2-0 so far, hasn't died yet, and the extra health certainly does seem to be helping Kraken. They are able to play a little bit more aggressively, knowing that they can be healed back up, and multiple times we have seen what would be a down actually turn into a revive off the back of that dock. So, Helix certainly making use of that buff. No Dakaibi yet in play, so we haven't seen the other half as well. Kraken doing pretty well so far for the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, really well, actually. They have just been sort of feeding into the beast. This is Surf. And Kraken have just sort of been there waiting to collect. They've got a great hold set up for this round. And in turn, they're just sort of waiting. They're not playing aggressively. They don't need to. You let Surf come to you in that aggression, play for a better position, and then ultimately just take them out one by one. That's exactly what they've been doing in these last few rounds. ANZ Frankie is going to be the one to lead the charge here, but walking on through, I'm not too sure what Gooft was hoping to achieve, but unfortunately it's not going to be too much for the rest of this round. As well as Lunchbox, my, Frankie is sharp with it.
They've opened the wall at 2 minutes to go, but NZ Frankie has opened the skulls of 2 players.
Oh, the player run away.
Oh no, I don't think that was deliberate. I think he went for the nade and he didn't realize it was spun on top of it.
No, so yeah, he was trying to nade the player out through the hatch, downed him, and he fell through the hatch, but he didn't confirm it because he ran away. And he's now being picked up as well. So what would have been a 2 versus 3 is now only a 2 versus 4 for Jakenna and Physics, which is a shame, but I mean, it's doable. They can get this bomb down and play for post. Okay, well, Pluto has just wiped Jakenna off the face of the earth, and Physics is now left in a 1 versus 4.
Wow, he survived. No, if he doesn't die here. Come on, Physics, you got it. Alright, 1v3, still not the most optimal place to be finding yourself in. And suddenly there's a player closing in on him very quickly.
Oh.
Vincia will be the one to clean things up. 3 rounds for Kraken.
Yeah, look, Spud. There you go. Overall, another good round from Kraken. They're sort of just running around playing their game, and I mean, we've talked about Surf's style of play on this many occasions now that you should know exactly what I'm about to say. They're a very aggressive team. They like the aggression. They like getting up in the face of their opponent and playing a very fast-paced game of Siege. However, Kraken are very similar in that fact, except the way that their aggression works is it's somewhat calculated. They have positions set up, they have this, they have that, they have great angles, they have supporting characters, they have information, and they use it to the ability of just running around and taking everything out. Now, I do think we see dock stims being shared around here. No, I'm not too sure why we keep seeing people be randomly healed. Oh, sorry, it's the rook plates. That's what, okay. Caster, by the way, doesn't know what rook plates are. But overall, Doc and Rook have been 100% pick rates, Bud.
5 seconds to insertion.
And they're winning.
Yeah, look at that. Pluto 4-0. He's gotten spawn picks, he's gotten assists. The 1.5 on the MP5 is just different. Is that even a 2 times? I think it's a 1.5.
No, 1.5 on the P90 is insane, but as well as the MP5. They've got drones on Helix here though, which might not end well, but thankfully he's pulled off.
And this roam looks to threaten to slow down Surf Esports. It's a question of how quickly they can clear these players out, but with the mute jammers in play, it's going to be a slow sludge towards them. And once that time has been burnt out, that's time they won't have for the execute. So I do like how Kraken have spread themselves out. And no doubt, as you mentioned, it won't be by themselves. They'll have support. Oh, no. ANZ Frankie with the jump out. Not even going to be traded out. Oh, he gets away. No.
What? Both players just held up at the front door, hesitated to peek. Pluto takes down Lunchbox as well. The nice shot in chat, but Spud at this point. I mean, the damage has been done. Surf have lost 2. Kraken are getting away with some absolutely insane kills. I mean, that's your Yana and your Nomad down for the price of 20 health damage done to NZ Frankie, and that's just the rook plate soaking it all up. I mean, that is it.
Well, they are lucky this is the second floor, not the basement. Otherwise, they'd be in a very dire position. Aggression once again punished Chef with the shotgun. Scars at least finds one for his trouble, but Pluto again 6-0 now. Will he make it to 7? Scars now 1v4. He's done it before, but that was arguably a different team, and this is Kraken.
And this is one of their best maps. Keep in mind, you know, we've harped on about it long enough. You should know by now that Kraken quite enjoy Oregon. Now, they do have the new dock on the board, which we do see being used here. Pluto is going to be returned up to quite a large amount of HP. Helix is taken down on the push, but it's Vinny to run out the main door and jump up on White Van, hit the 180, and take down the player on the balcony. You can't blame him too much for getting aggressive like that. But Kraken, they're definitely making this a quick one. It is 4-0 right now, and Surf, they, for the first time in a long time, are looking like they don't know what to do here.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I did not expect this game of all the games to be the quick one. Certainly didn't expect it to be Surf Esports. I mean, they put on a really good showing against Team 7 last week, and then suddenly it's just all fallen apart here. And as you mentioned, it could come down to that play style. Surf Esports really, really aggressive, but Kraken also play that way, but with measure, with calculation. And that seems to be catching Surf off guard. Kraken know when to go for those peaks, when to be aggressive, and when not to be. They NZ Frankie with that brilliant jump out, and then he just backs off perfectly. The roamers fall back. They just disappear, and Surf Esports left chasing a ghost.
10 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, look, Surf have just been caught on so many instances with their trousers around their ankles, and
Attackers are moving out to locate
unfortunately for them, it has not been panning out how maybe they would have hoped. Now, Chef isn't doing too bad, given that he's not playing on his own setup. He's out of home. I believe set up on somewhere at Fortress right now. But I mean, Surf are just struggling so much for some reason in this matchup, and I'm not too sure why. But overall, they're just doing things like this.
Oh my goodness.
No drone utility following through. I mean, this is an F2 issue, Spud, if we had to name it.
They should know better.
Oh, Vinny! Okay. Jakenna, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate to say the least.
Man, what do you do at that point?
Yeah, not much.
Pluto!
He's 7-0. And Vinny's still alive, actually. Keep in mind.
Oh. No,
they know he's here. Does he get one? No, he doesn't.
Alright.
Okay, okay. Goof is there. It's alright. Ladies and gentlemen, relax. Vinny's down. He's not going to be hitting any more stinkers this round. But, I mean, you've lost 3 already, Spud. This has got to be a huge effort from Surf.
I mean, barely half the round is over, and Surf are already down to their last 2 players. They've only just taken the top floor control. They still have all that territory to take. Rest of Kraken are sitting up there on full health, and they have mirror windows of all things to deal with. This is not good for Surf Esports. I don't know how else to put it apart from the fact that this is dangerous. Physics at least does find Chef Jeff. He does check the counter with the shotgun. So, something to work with, but dangerous nevertheless.
I mean, they find 1, so a 2 versus 3 is definitely a very winnable position. Overall, Goofed. He is yet to really find himself this matchup. Now, the mirror setup here is going to be somewhat of an issue, especially coming down main here for Goof. Now, he's going to try and clear that out with his Abana pellets. And ANZ Frankie is just going to opt to peek over towards Freezer, spot the head of Physics. Unfortunately, doesn't win the fight, which means that the mirror is opened as well as losing the player, which not the greatest here. However, Helix is on the case. He's found the head of Physics, but Goofed is there to trade it out. Diffuser has been dropped inside of Freezer, though. Helix now holds the advantage over Goofed, but not the mechanical one. Goofed single-handedly locks that round down for his team. Surf, they make something happen from an impossible moment. And Kraken let themselves go a little bit.
That was a rare Kraken fumble there. The one round that every team manages to get against Kraken. Usually at the very start while they're still warming up. So against a very well warmed up and certainly playing at, well, I wouldn't say, well, in full capacity Kraken, that is no small feat. Having said that, it is still but 1 round. Goof, I believe, 3k there to make things work. And they finally shut down Oldmate, Pluto, and Vinny. But will it be enough? They need to repeat this at least enough, one more time to make it a 4-2. Otherwise, Kraken are going to be looking dangerously ahead with a 5-1 lead going into their attack.
A 5-1 defense on Oregon is best case scenario. A 4-2 is also pretty good. So regardless of the outcome, Kraken have arguably come out on top.
5 seconds left before insertion.
But Spud, other than that, Surf, they find a round. You know, they've got some momentum now, hopefully, to convert a second, which would open the door for an interesting matchup. But right now, it is just Kraken's game, and Surf are in it.
You know what I'm really mad about? Someone didn't take their Rook armor. That is not optimal utility usage, guys. That's a no-no. And maybe, I mean, to be fair, they don't really need it. So far, they have been doing just running circles around Surf Esports, and they need to think of a way to check the aggression from Kraken, or at least deny them some of this information that has been feeding the machine that is Kraken's roamers and their entries.
In fact, we've had Rook and Doc every round. Like, there's no Jaeger, there's no Wamai, there's no... You know what I mean, Spud? It is just sort of a heavy, gun-happy roster, but they are doing so good with the lineup being bought. I mean, who would have thought that Rook, Doc, paired with Warden, Mirror, and Mute was a good lineup?
Certainly it seems that Surf Esports are trying to play their game as well, the heavy aggression, but they're playing right into Kraken's hands. They're brute forcing it. They're not looking for an alternative route. They're happy to do what they're good at, and sometimes that does work, as we saw in that previous round. They did outfrag Kraken, but it's not reliable. If they did have that extra bit of utility, maybe they have something that can even the odds in these gunfights, because Kraken, head-to-head gunfights, they are excelling, especially with players like Vinny, especially with Pluto on the board. Maybe Surf Esports need to take a step back and think of a way other than directly challenging them.
Look at Chef. He's up in the attic right now. This hatch is closed. He's got 3 players right below him. He opens this up. He could be good for at least a kill. Possibly 2 here, as they are backed off. He does opt to drop down. They're already inside of E. From above, Chef's going to be the death that fells this push. He finds the first, not the down onto the second, though. Goof is there to trade. Box also finds a 1, a 2 versus 3 in favor of Surf. As Goof finds another. Vinci now the last alive inside the site. He collects the first, SMG in hand. The down player confirms the kill, but Goof is there once more to fell the efforts. Kraken on the retake. Unfortunately, not as swift as they would have hoped. Surf lock in a second. 4-2 now on the split, but Kraken go over onto the attack. Surf to the defense. Spud, this is shaping up to one that can definitely be something that goes the distance.
Yeah, Surf Esports able to close things out at the end. A little bit shaky, but they did make things work. And of course, off the back of Goofed, some really nice kills opening things up and closing it out just then. If it wasn't for Goofed, I think things could be going very, very differently. We would be seeing perhaps 6-0-5-1 at the very least. So they certainly have him to thank for that. Moving on to the defense now, though, things are looking different. They do at least have the side advantage, so to speak. But Kraken are well versed in this and could prove to be a very, very difficult wave to stop.
Yeah, indeed. You know, overall, things so far for Kraken were really, really good in those first 4 rounds. Surf found 2, you know, they learned their lesson. But Goofed has arguably been the one that has stepped up for this roster in the last couple of rounds and really sort of put the work in himself on the Havana. And it is starting to show in terms of the round counts. You know, the last 2 rounds that they've won are off Goofed, sort of just playing that entry, finding those opening kills. So if you can keep that up for Surf single-handedly, we might have an absolute banger of a game here.
Bit of roam presence, but the approach seems to be from this. I'm not actually quite sure where it is. It will be from this small tower side, and I think they're going to be pushing across. And also from this bedroom area, Chef Jeff already taking the middle floor, the kids' bedroom, looking to cut off any players in kitchen and any players trying to return via that white stairs.
Chef always ends up being the one on the buck if there is a buck to be played. Now, Lunchbox in the position he's currently in has not been droned at all. Chef seems to be aware that there is someone around. It will be Pluto to open it up onto Jakenna. Lunchbox is sort of caught by the line scan there, running away down Green Hall as well, but they've already found the opener. Goofed is still alive up in this interesting position, and unfortunately, Lunchbox will go down to NZ Frankie. So they lose 2 on the roam, but Goofed is still at large in large tower here and is yet to be droned out. Hopefully Vinny sees him here, but there you go. Goofed spotted, will have to retreat.
He's not going to retreat. He's going to hold that angle, but if he pushes too far up, he will find himself taken out by Vinny. Wise move there, does back off, his position given away, but at least he keeps his life. That, however, does cede the 2 floors to Kraken, who now have a minute and a half to work on these hatches, and that's plenty of time, considering they still have 5 players available to go onto an execute right at the end.
Match being opened up here by Kraken. They're a well-oiled machine. A minute remains, but only 3 members. Now, Physics finds 1. The trade not there on the freezer stairs, meaning Pluto is taken out. 4 versus 3. Surf still have some strong players on the board. Physics and Goof stand. Scars as well. We've seen him in a 1vx situation and know that he can do some work. As Freezer now becomes a point of contention, Helix makes his way down, leading the charge on the Zofia. Vincia going for a rotate. Frankie and Chef looking to drop into E-Box here, but the push is yet to come. Kraken are still seeming like they want to set something up. Vinny's a little bit back and forth outside between the main side of Bunker here. But with 1 player close, Goofed holding this cross can not only deny Bunker, but he can also deny the E-Box drop. It doesn't matter though. Vincia is a whole lot sharper, takes him out. Chef inside of the site with the skeleton key in hand. Physics takes out Helix. Diffuser yet to be dropped, but unfortunately isn't down either. Skeleton key is going to connect. Scars has been spotted out. He takes out Vincia, almost Frankie as well, but the diffuser yet to be going down now. Finally hits the floor. Scars could win this on time. We've seen him 1v3 before. Chef is still up, but it's a post plant.
Scars, he's done it before. Can he do it again? He's got time ticking down now, not on his side. He's got to find NZ Frankie first, but it will be Chef from long range. Does clean out that kill. And finally, another round for Kraken.
There you go. A little bit of a salvo press tab for confidence moment there in the chat, I think, from the boys over at Kraken. But that execute was about as good as it could have got. Surf Esports were in such good positions to lock that round out. I mean, you do have to give it to Goofed, as well as that player inside of Freezer as well. You know, physics was pretty much one of the big deciding factors there, found some good kills, but Scars could have gone huge. Unfortunately didn't. He took out Vincier, which was probably one of the bigger threats. I mean, you look at the leaderboard right now. Vincier 7, Chef with also 7, Pluto on 8. I mean, there's a lot going on the side of Kraken. NZ, Frankie, and Helix are sort of just there supporting, but that's their job, you know, but that's what they do at the end of the day. So at the moment, Kraken, they're 5-2 up. They are looking to make this one possibly a 7-3. If I had to guess, maybe find 1 or 2 more in this game. But the way Kraken are playing it right now, things aren't looking too good for Surf unless they can go huge in these next couple of rounds.
Yeah, our star player, our highlight player, Lunchbox, having a bit of a quiet game today. He has been checked by Kraken, making sure that he doesn't really have a room to rotate back towards site. Oryx perhaps will be able to get away a little bit better. He's got more options to work with, but so far, Kraken have been very good at locking down these players, making sure that there is no escape.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Yes, indeed. The line as well has been absolutely imperative to how Kraken have been pushing this out. You know, if they can lock a player down, then they can do damage. But unfortunately, this round, it hasn't exactly gone as they would have hoped. Goof finds one on a fadeaway for 2 in the round. Physics as well. And just like that, Surf Esports fire back with an absolute heater of a round for themselves. Unfortunately, they aren't going to be able to find too much more. That being Kraken, NZ Frankie is in a 1 versus 5, but Spud, I'm not rating the chances. Surf will play this as smart as they can, and then they'll just go from there into a 5-3.
Surely they don't throw this. If they throw this, then I'm really not sure what else I can say about them. But look, they've got all the positions, they've got all the utility, they can just sit back and wait. It is a long time to wait, mind you, 1.5 minutes, so maybe they get a little bit impatient, as we do see players tend to get. But for Kraken, it's a lot of time they have to work with to maybe find a pick, find an opening, find something they can work with. It won't be much, and maybe perhaps this time is better taken as a tactical timeout, sort of. But still, NZ Frankie is going to give it a go. He has been in these clutch situations before, just not quite with such dire odds.
Well, he's gone 6 into blue, and he's actually gone quite deep for how far I thought he was going to get. But Scars is attempting to give himself away, but I mean, that's still a nice shot. He connects. And overall, Surf, that was a great round from them. That was a very solid round from them, especially Goofed, finding those first 2 paired with everything else. But Surf are going to take a TT. Can't really blame them too much. I mean, they've found a good round there and actually managed to get in a decent amount of rounds before having to actually take this tactical. I mean, they're only 2 behind. Kraken are only in the lead by 2, keep in mind as well, Spud. So Surf are actually in relatively good sort of positions to definitely come back to 5-5. We saw in game number 1, you know, UG had that great start, and then ultimately T7 came back. UG closed it out in the end, which could be what we see here as a repeat from Kraken. But other than that, Surf right now are going to be the ones in the driving seat, especially after a round like that. That was very dominant on their behalf.
Now, last week, Surf Esports did, of course, beat Team 7, and that was a 7-4 victory on Oregon as well. So certainly, they know they can beat the top teams here on Oregon. It's just a matter of whether they can beat Kraken, the top team on Oregon, if you will. Kraken is their playground. In fact, it's their only playground. Kraken have only played Oregon this entire season. And we are at week 6, episode 6, and we still have not changed that yet. Someone has to take it away from Kraken, force them to play something else, because surely they have something else other than Oregon in their strat.
Look, Oregon's a great map. As much as we go on and say, like, Oregon again, who would have guessed? Like, you know, we see it 16 times a week across multiple leagues. It is arguably probably one of the best, if not the best, comp map in terms of how long it's been around, how it's played, just everything along the lines of competitive map. you think Oregon straight away, or at least you should. So I don't blame it for being, you know, one of Kraken's better maps. But Surf have also proven to be quite proficient on it. So
Attackers drop the diffuser. Attackers
And
recover
certainly
the
we are getting a really good showing here from both these teams. Kraken just a little bit better so far, but not by much. 2 rounds isn't much to go by. And of course, Surf Esports did take a really, really decisive round in that previous one. So Kraken aren't quite done yet, and especially they still have a way to go, but that certainly will help.
look, they've got the trades back and forth. Helix goes down. They lose Jakenna for it. Jakenna somewhat stunted as to what has just unfolded, unfortunately. But either or, Pluto has been consistently opening up these rounds with kills for himself in these last few rounds. And, I mean, it has been consistent on his end. He always finds these openers. And he's been doing really, really well. So you do have to give it to him. But Kraken once more. Arguably, probably not in the lead as much as we thought in terms of health. I mean, that's the only thing letting him down right now.
And they are going to struggle opening up this wall as well with that impact trick. And with no pressure coming out from Attic, it's going to be a fairly one-way push unless Chef Jeff can get in close here and do some damage. This will be, I think, the linchpin. This will be the game changer. That means Kraken get a bit more depth to their attack and really break this defense open.
Pluto finds himself double digits. Lunchbox and Physics, though, they both get one for themselves. Chef Jeff into Attic. He takes one out with the skeleton key. Deep now, close on the door. Here's the player to his right. Flashbang on through. Box on the Warden is going to be able to put the glasses on and block the haters out. Chef will find another, but it's Box to find the triple. He's on for a quad here. Has to go for the reload. NZ Frankie once more in a 1vx situation. Needs to find Lunchbox. We'll spot him on the right. And if he doesn't, the shots give his position away. He's just standing and waiting right now. He has the diffuser to play off. Will opt to go for the plant, but it's a Nitro, apparently, that takes down NZ Frankie. That, to me, didn't look like it should have been close enough, but apparently he's in the radius and Surf. They're going to win that round, Lunchbox. A quad kill for him and a huge clutch.
Now, we mentioned earlier that Lunchbox was having a bit of a quieter game, and I think he took a little bit offense to that. And with that, he will close things out. Kraken were looking good. With that flank coming in from Jeff, he jumped in through that attic window, managed to get 2 for his troubles, but unfortunately not quite able to find Lunchbox, and that is where it all fell apart. Scar says, sorry, Chef, I forgot you were like that on Buck. Shotgun, indeed. A thing you should definitely not forget, and I don't think the Surf Esports are going to make the same mistake again.
Okay. Look, overall, Surf have actually done really well to get it back to this position. And I said it sort of a couple of rounds ago, you know, Kraken were in the position of being a fair few rounds ahead. Very similar to what we saw from UG at the beginning. Then they sort of had the comeback moment, which was sort of T7, which is in this instance Surf. And then Kraken, aka UG, closed it out. So I don't know if we're going to have a repeat here, Spud, but the way it's panning out is either Surf are going to come back or Kraken are going to sort of close it out in due fashion. So I'm not too sure really what to call this one on, because both teams seem to just be having some fun right now.
Yeah, Kraken certainly don't want to leave it any closer now. They don't want to be even, but that will certainly help. Scar's star player so many times will get taken out now. And yeah, a player down isn't boding well for Surf Esports. They do still have a lot of utility to work with. They've got the smoke available, so it's not all done. But certainly, losing the Wamaya and that utility now is going to hurt.
Yeah, look, losing Scars is unfortunate to say the least, but hey, Spud, what did we say? When Scars is down, Surf find rounds. And doing so, Kraken had a good round on this bomb site previously. I'd imagine that they'll look to be locking it down again once more in some dominating fashions, but I mean, at the moment, Kraken, they seem a little bit more locked in than they have in these last couple of rounds.
Zami playing very aggressively behind the barriers and the shield on the stage, but as we mentioned, with no grenade denial, this might become easy pickings for Pluto with that with the frag grenades. Chef Jeff does actually be the one to kill him. That is poetic. That's poetic.
That is very poetic. The fact that we got to see that in third person was absolutely awesome. Chef literally hit the controller spin and then got taken down, but it doesn't matter. Chef got double digits. He's happy. However, Goof is going to be the one that's doing the damage upstairs. He takes out 2 and equalizes here for Surf. Now, NZ Frankie is going to have to push him out. That is why the exothermic charge is going down right here. There you go. Goof is going to back away for the time being. Opening up A for an execute. Vincier is juggled over the diffuser. Now, Jakenna does get aggressive over towards the double door here. I don't know how exactly he doesn't die straight away, but it's Vinny to open it up. He finds the first, takes out Goofed. Frankie finds Jakenna, and it's now all up to Lunchbox. He won a 1 versus 3 in the previous. He spots the player on the back stairs, also on the right side of the wall. Can't connect the shots here with the glasses on. Needs to get aggressive, needs to let the smoke dissipate. To keep a barricade from his teammate. It's making it hard to see. NZ Frankie goes down. The diffuser is planted, but Lunchbox pushes up. He finds an insane second kill with the Ying on the board. He reactivates the glasses here. Helix has 1 more Candela and 2 smokes to play with. Lunchbox, no nitro. He knows the player's close. He opts to move towards green. Helix is backed out. He's going for the long angle. Spots him, but Lunchbox wins it. An insane 1 versus 3. My God, Pluto is as lost as we are. But what a clutch for Surf. Holy Kraken playing with their food. That's why this guy is insane.
It's a 1v3 clutch. He's done it before against F2, but to imagine he would do it against Kraken, now that is a different story. It was all Kraken's round, everything had fallen apart, but the Lunchbox kept it together. And with that, Surf Esports equalized, and now Kraken, what was looking like a great start, suddenly not so sure anymore.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
Wow. I mean, that's a round. That's a round to lose, but it's just a Lunchbox. There's a reason that this guy is our highlight player week in, week out. And even just then, I mean, that's a highlight clip. Round 10, 1v3 from Lunchbox. He didn't even need the nitro spot. If he had the nitro, that would have been, you know, a lot easier than it was. But even in saying that, without the nitro, he made it stylish, and you love to see it. So good for Surf. They equalise finally 5-5. But Kraken now, you know, they're left with what are they going to do? You know, they've lost the lead. Now it's basically 0-0.
Mind you, now Surf Esports on the defense means they do have a little bit of an advantage here. Kraken, though, have shown themselves very, very proficient in the attack, but Surf Esports equally skilled on the defense. We all remember that round where it was a 1v5, barely a minute over. So, still anyone's game at this point. A good start, though, for Kraken. They have taken out some of the utility in bunker, and that's going to make it easier for them to push that.
Yeah, they're making quick work. Now, Kraken, they've let the last few rounds slip out of their control. NZ Frankie looking to open it up here, and indeed he will. Takes down Jakenna. He hasn't been having the best of luck on these roams today. He's 4-10, which has got to hurt. But, look, overall, Lunchbox still lives, and that is pretty much all Surf need at this point in time, apparently. Oh, okay, he doesn't much longer.
Going to be the same player as well. NZ Frankie, the support, leading the charge. And with that roam cut off, 3 players now remaining for Surf Esports. Looking to challenge Helix, and Helix once again on the worst end of that. Goof, as always, doing that damage. No Ying Candelas available, and that's going to hamper the ability of Kraken to launch this attack. They do need to get the hatches open now if they want any hope of executing well.
Look, if they can find a couple more kills here, Kraken would be pretty much well set to close it out as it is. But given that it's still a 4 versus 3. Goof is still alive. T's been having a great... Okay, he's not alive. I keep saying all these people are still alive. They're going to make great plays. And then they proceed to not be alive anymore. But this is what Kraken needed, arguably. You know, the 4 versus 2, find a couple of kills, move the diffuser around, retrieve it, and then look for the execute.
Yeah, with the players spread so thin on the defense, Kraken can easily pinch them. They have the player advantage to do so. Grenade goes out, does get caught by a utility, but does force Physics to fall back now because he's worried. He does find ANZ Frankie looking the wrong way, which is a little bit surprising. And a second one, Chef. Where are you guys looking?
Kraken, you're executing on the site. You're not checking anything. Chef and NZ Frankie taken down, arguably on angles that they probably should have been checking. But a 2 versus 2 for both sides. The diffuser control is in the hands of Surf. Now, they do have smoke on the board as well. Physics is still up here. Pluto will be blinded by his own teammate. They lose that fight. Pluto goes down. It will now. He finds the first. One player inside a pillar, but doesn't check the right. Scars called out, but not found. And Surf now take the lead over what was a largely Kraken-sided match. Surf are now on match points. Spud, this could be the overtime that we were talking about. And I mean, it is getting closer and closer.
Kraken are going to have to pull out a strategy from the deep here because they're at risk of being washed away. Surf Esports, they were looking in a dangerous position, but now they've equalized. And with that, maybe some mental change has happened. Kraken, although they had the advantage in that round, suddenly it just fell apart and we were just as surprised as anyone. Now, Surf Esports looking like they're going to be the second team to upset Kraken on Oregon. Could they do it? If they do indeed, then they firmly lock in their place in the playoffs, and it might be Kraken who actually get knocked out of playoffs by Underground, depending on how the points play out.
That would be interesting. That would make for a pretty upsetting moment, I would imagine, Spud.
5 seconds to go.
But up until that point in time, we are yet to see it. And Surf, they're 1 round away from being the second team to do it. So hopefully they can consolidate here, especially after the rough start they had.
Yeah, if Kraken manage to take it to overtime, I think they still stay in playoffs. So it is this round. They just need to get 1 round here. Very, very dangerous, though, with the way some of these Surf Esports players have been playing, especially with Lunchbox, with Goof on the Roman. Scars is always clutching things out at the end. Oh, this is going to be difficult.
Very much so. I mean, Kraken can take it to overtime, then your points go down from 3 to 2. Then you start talking less and less as you go up and down the scale of overtime loss/win. But Kraken are probably going to look for overtime just because they do want the win. You know, they wouldn't want the streak per se on their overall track record. But the Candela comes out. Goofed is there for the cross, and Pluto, who's been so pivotal on these entries, goes down.
Could this be the beginning of the end? Kraken seem to have stalled out a little bit with this shield position. No grenade. Oh, yeah, those are the grenades gone. This shield is going to be trouble. You can tell already. They're going to have to find some way to take him out, whether it be pure brute force or otherwise, but it's not looking good with Lunchbox on to Chef Jeff as well. This might be the end for Kraken.
Yeah, Chef goes down, and these are some good kills to see coming out from everyone. And there you go, Jakenna through the smoke. He takes out Helix. NZ Frankie also falls off screen. It's all up to Vince here, the super sub who went huge in round number 1. He's going to have to go huge here as well in round number 11 if he wants to walk away with a possibility of a win here, because at this point, all he's going to get is overtime if he wins it. He's had a great game, Spud. He's 10-8. He's looking for a couple more kills here, but Surf, they're going to play this as safe as it gets. 7-5, I think we can chalk it up to, unless they start running at him here, but I don't think they're going to do that, Spud. They want the win.
You say that, but... Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, cool. I was a little bit worried there. But he had the shotgun in hand, he heard the sound, he turned around and just dumped it right into his body. Well played there from Surf Esports, indeed. It was difficult, it was a tough run, but off the back of some great players, a nice clutch, they have overcome Kraken Esports 7-5.
And that's the second time that Kraken have been upset on their best map. Overall, I mean, Spud, that is an insane stat. I was just writing that down. I mean, the second time that Kraken have lost Oregon, when they bring all the experience. I mean, they had Vinny in, and Vinny did win them a lot of rounds. Let's be honest. You know, that first round, that 1v3, awesome. A few more rounds after that, he did some clutching and whatnot elsewhere. But there were definitely some mistakes made by Kraken. I mean, notably those entries that we saw, I believe, 2 rounds just before the game ended, where, you know, people were just sort of running around, not really looking at things and sort of getting caught off guard. But overall, this was a really intense match that could have quite easily gone to overtime.
Yeah, we talk about the experience that Kraken were bringing, and mind you, these guys were playing with 2 subs. I think with 1 sub they could have been okay, but once they started introducing too many, I think too many variables, you lost just that little bit of synergy, and that little bit of synergy is what you needed against a team like Surf Esports. You need every bit of power you can get. And of course, mistakes were made. Chef with the shotgun, though I think we'll see another one of his mistakes later on as well. Goofed also making big impact here. This was a round that Surf Esports should not have won, but he did manage to win it.
Yeah, look, it was a great performance from both sides. You know, we say what we say due to the sake of analysis, but overall, at the end of the day, both sides were absolutely insane. I mean, Lunchbox just absolutely, well, arguably, if I had to say, was the deciding factor in this matchup after that 1 versus 3. It was absolutely insane from him. And then that last round was pretty much as dominant as they come. So for Kraken, overall, an unfortunate loss. But I mean, Spud, that was a really solid game from Surf, and a very similar thing that unfolded for what we saw in game number 1 tonight. You know, a great beginning for the other team, but then ultimately the second half, they just cleaned up house.
Yeah, it was a little. We did see a bit of struggle, I think, early on. It was a 4-2 half, now that I go back to my notes, and so definitely it was a really good, impressive performance, being able to take that 3 rounds, push it to 5-5. And I think it was at that point Kraken started falling apart. The cracks were starting to show, if you will, especially off the back of that clutch, which they arguably really should have won. It's a 3v1 post-plant. So, you know, I think that's where it started all going downhill.
Now, we do have Jakenna here coming to join us in the booth. And I mean, Jakenna, welcome. Obviously, congratulations is in order. Very well done from you guys tonight. Run us through it. You guys go down 4-0 early on in the matchup. What changed from there onwards? Because it seemed like a spark was ignited in the team.
I think it was a Lunchbox. He didn't get any kills in the first 4 rounds. So as soon as he got a kill, you know, we started winning rounds because it wasn't a 4v5 anymore. So I think that was the biggest impact.
Like, obviously, you guys are probably well and truly in the playoffs. Looking into next week and the playoffs, how are you guys feeling?
I don't know. I'm feeling confident that we can, you know, win it all. I don't think it would be too hard to win the playoffs. I think the first few games that they played, we trolled a bit. That was definitely my fault. But yeah, playoffs, I'll actually plug the mouse and keyboard in and we'll probably win.
Oh, look, we hope to see the controller make a return. But Jakenna, I mean, after tonight, is there anyone you want to shout out specifically? Anything you want to say before we head into next week?
Well, obviously, shout out to my teammates and shout out to Shannon Down. She's our biggest supporter, and yeah, she's really good moral support mid-game as well.
Yep, you'll love to hear it. Well, Jakenna, congratulations. Pass it on to the lads for us. And overall, an absolutely great game from Surf Esports. But I mean, Spud, that was a heater. That was great. And overall, a really good matchup between those two. Surf out, at the end of the day, really are proving to us more and more why they deserve to be up in these top ranks.
Definitely the new org buff is just different. 2 stunning wins, both over teams that were rated higher than the previous 2 rounds. So, yeah, they definitely deserve their spot in the playoffs. And I do believe that I am confident as well that they could win this all. There are still challenges in the way. It's not quite over yet, but Surf Esports is as good a pick as any.
Well, at the end of today's playday, we may see some changes in the leaderboard, Spud, but overall, the top four are largely similar to what we were necessarily expecting. Underground, unfortunately, not making it through just on the back end of that matchup. They are close, but not close enough, as it would seem. So they do have a couple more playdays, one or two more playdays, to go for another attempt here at trying to make it in, but so far, the top four is relatively the same. Surf takes second, Team 7 go down to third, but other than that, not too many changes, Bud.
Yeah, Surf Esports have made a jump up 2 positions, firmly cementing their place in that playoffs. It's now up to Kraken and Underground, depending on how things go next week, which will determine their fate. I'm not sure if... one of these teams, I believe, might even be Surf, who is not playing next week, so we'll have to see how that goes. But certainly, it's not over yet. Underground is still in the running.
Yeah, definitely still in the running. They are close. But overall, Spud, I mean, it will have to be what comes down to after the games next week, obviously, depending on where people sit. Team 7 take on Kraken, get a grip, go up against Not Quite Sure, and F2 take on Underground. So provided something goes very wrong in the Team 7 Kraken game, Underground I would have pegged to beat F2. So fourth place is definitely still a prospect for them, depending on how Kraken go in next week's playday, because there's only, again, 1 point separating these two teams. So overall, Spud, I mean, final thoughts going into next week. What are we expecting to be the top four if you had to pick?
Yeah, I mean, it does come down to Team 7 versus Kraken, and based on how these two teams have been playing recently, I'm not quite so sure anymore. They haven't been as solid as we would have hoped. They have taken some losses. If Team 7 beat Kraken, then that and Underground win, not in overtime, but straight out, then that will put them exactly 1 point ahead of Kraken. And that could be the game changer. So Kraken, they have a big game next week. Starting things off, we'll almost know for certain right at the start who's going to go to playoffs.
Indeed, they do. But Spud, unfortunately, for all the Siege enjoyers out there, that is going to be the end of our program tonight. We've got no more games for you, so unfortunately, we can't really stick around and give you any more. So we have had an absolute blast as always, and I hope you guys have had as well. Catch us next week, same time, same place, different faces for the next set of games. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a good one. Goodbye.